Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Danbury Hat Tricks Hockey on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel. Casey Bryant alongside Zach McGinnis, and soon to be joining us in the broadcast booth will be Jack O'Mara, as tonight is round 2 of the weekend as the Danbury Hat Tricks go for the weekend sweep of the Delaware Thunder. Two teams that are trending in very, very drastically different directions. The Danbury Hat Tricks gunning for their 7th consecutive victory. Meanwhile, the Delaware Thunder find themselves plummeting towards the bottom of the Eastern Division. They have lost 10 games in a row, but Zach, it was really a very eye-opening defensive performance for the Delaware Thunder last night. You find it almost hard to believe that the record is what it is for the Thunder, 8-27-0-0. How is that possible when a team plays that physically and that defensive-minded?
Well, you know, they haven't really caught a break all season long. They have lost over 10 one-goal games, and those are one-goal games that don't find their way into overtime, so Delaware doesn't gain any points in the standings. I was speaking with Delaware's broadcaster before we went on air here. He made another good point. They've never played Battle Creek. We are over 30 games into the season. They still have 6 games scheduled against Battle Creek. Of course, on the flip side, Battle Creek has starting to get their things together. They only have 1 victory on the year. A great victory that it was. But, you know, Delaware, between the vagaries of the schedule and, well, just simply putting together a team, Casey, you know, with the Danbury Hat Tricks, we started in July. The Delaware Thunder started even after us. It's tough to put a team together. They're gelling at the right time. They're going up against one of the hottest teams in the league in the Danbury Hat Tricks, and they gave them everything they could handle last night.
And you mentioned that they haven't yet played the Battle Creek Rumblebees, and those games are the kind of dates that on the calendar that you circle, because the Mentor Icebreakers, currently in 4th in the Eastern Division, are in free fall right now. It's been a very dire time for the Icebreakers, and the Delaware Thunder, though they may be many points back really from 4th place, still have to be eyeing that, going 3 points for regulation wins. We can make that up with if we get hot at the right time. They have beaten the Danbury Hat Tricks earlier this season, a 6-2 victory, a dominant one at that. So how will they be able to recapture that glory tonight?
Well, they won that game because, and this seems to be the way to defeat the Danbury Hat Tricks, they played physical. That game was away down in Harrington, Delaware, so they had their hometown support with them. But when we've seen Danbury get hit, when they have to play physically, they don't have as much time, perhaps not as much energy to put the puck in the back of the net. We've seen Elmira with that game plan come here to Danbury and win. We've seen the Port Huron Prowlers at the beginning of the year. They played physical. They escaped Danbury with 4 out of 6 points. If Delaware wants to win this game, they need to come out physical. They need to try and throw the Danbury Hat Tricks around. And between the top defensive pairing of Charlie Pence Jr. and Anthony Paisano, they certainly have the size to do that.
Paisano especially was making his return to Danbury last night after spending 3 seasons with the Danbury Whalers and Danbury Titans. Hadn't played in the Hat City since 2016, and he chewed up a lot of minutes defensively, and you could feel his impact from the moment the puck dropped.
A lot of minutes defensively, and they were hard minutes too, whether it's Paisano battling against, say, C. Brown in front of a net or simply throwing his weight around. You saw towards the end of the game, he tried to get things going even more so physically with his fists than just with his shoulders, trying to pick a fight with Nick Levesque in particular. Levesque wisely skated away from it because Levesque, he's not a small guy, and yet compared to Anthony Paisano, who's 6'5", 285 pounds, he didn't look the biggest. So again, if Delaware, if they can bring that physical aspect, I think that they have a better chance in this game. But they didn't look bad yesterday. They skated their tails off. They got over 30 shots on goal. And again, it was really a 1-goal game. Phil Bronner had the empty net goal towards the end. But again, it's a close game. Delaware's that close to getting over the hump.
Well, it was the success especially of that Evansville Thunderbolt connection as well last night. Shane Morrissey and Carter Shinkarik both found themselves onto the stat sheet, and the two of them have been just so scalding hot lately. Shinkarik leading the way for the Danbury Hat Tricks, 54 points in 31 games. Shane Morrissey, a revelation since joining the Hat Tricks. 2 more points last night, had himself a beauty of a goal, and what can you really say about Shane Morrissey's impact since he's joined the team? What a dynamic player he's been.
I'm worried about him. He's playing too well. He's going to get sent somewhere else. Morrissey is averaging over 2 points a game. He had 2 in yesterday's affair. I mean, what more can you ask for a player? And you mentioned that connection with Carter Shinkarik. I mean, the speed that the two of them possess. We saw Shinkarik break up multiple plays on the back check, using his speed both offensively and defensively. What a pickup both those players have been for the Danbury Hat-Tricks, and gosh, I hope that they stay here through the playoffs.
And we've seen their off wing now get juggled a little bit in the absence of Casper Dearson, and that has really been the story the last couple of weeks for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. All of the missing faces. Gordy Bennell still out tonight. Casper Dearson still out tonight. Aaron Atwell still out tonight. Steve Mealy still out tonight. So many people coming in and out of this Hat-Tricks lineup. You wonder, how are they still able to get it done? Well, one of those players getting it done in a Johnny-on-the-spot moment was Easton Oliver, starting on the blue line tonight for the Hat-Tricks. What a performance last night for number 6.
An anchor on the blue line because, again, you've got Vlad Gavrik back there. You've got Kenny Garrett back there. You have Easton Oliver. Easton Oliver is a consummate pro. He's been around this league, and yesterday's game was his first game in over a month, and it didn't look like he even missed a beat. I'm glad that he's got the start on the blue line tonight. He certainly deserves it.
As the Danbury Hat-Tricks take the ice for the start of the game, donning their orange alternate jerseys, which will be auctioned off after tonight's game. If you are not in attendance here tonight at Danbury Arena and you would like to participate in the auction and get your favorite player's jersey, you can call into the main office, and you can find that number on our website at danburyhattricks.com, and you can put in your bid to see if you can get your favorite player's jersey. And boy, the bright orange alternates, they've been wearing them with a bit more frequency. It seems like after their winning streak was snapped, initially that longest winning streak in Danbury history, they've started to switch up their jerseys at home. We haven't seen the home blacks in a while.
No, we haven't seen the blacks in a while. That's a very nice jersey. These orange ones, though, I think the Danbury faithful here, they've really embraced them. You know, for the teams that were here prior to the Hat-Tricks and the Titans and the Whalers, they went with a blue and green scheme. You see plenty of that around this crowd here tonight. You see the black uniforms of the Danbury Trashers of the United Hockey League, but these orange ones, they're bright, they're vibrant, and every day in Danbury you see just a little more tinge of orange out on the streets.
Starting lineup now, first for the visiting Delaware Thunder. They'll be having on the blue line Charlie Pence Jr. and Anthony Paisano. On the forward lines, Mark Anthony Simonetta will be with Evgeny Demin and Thomas Municello, and in goal for the Delaware Thunder, number 39, Aaron Taylor. Countering for the Danbury Hat-Tricks on the blue line will be Cruz Listmayer and Easton Oliver. On the forward lines, Johnny Ruiz, Nicola Levesque, and Phil Bronner. And in goal for the Danbury Hat-Tricks, making his first home start since returning from the SPHL, is Tom McGuckin, who comes in with a 13-4-1 record. We're going to turn you over now to the playing of the national anthem. Here's now public address announcer Christian Gardecki.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem. Here to sing the Stars Battle Banner. Please welcome lead singer of the band Bedrock, Tess Lovell.
rousing rendition of the national anthem by Tesla Bell from the band Bedrock, who is playing at Danbury Arena tonight. A marvelous job by LaBelle. Your Ameriprise Financial goaltending matchup of the evening for the Delaware Thunder. Aaron Taylor comes in with an 8-23-0 record. A 4.66 goals against average and 8.99 save percentage. Faced a flurry of chances in the early goings of last night's contest and really settled down as the game progressed. It was the backbreaking goal by Johnny Ruiz to give a 3-2 lead as just 10 seconds after the game-tying goal off the stick of Taylor Cutting. But Aaron Taylor, for the most part, looked very sharp last night, and he'll be looking to keep that train a-rolling as he's been the consistent number one option for Delaware all season long. For the Danbury Hat-Tricks, Tom McGuckin, as mentioned before, making his return to Danbury after a brief stint with the Fayetteville Marksmen up in the SPHL. He comes in with 13 wins to his name, tied with Dylan Kelly now for the team lead. 13-4-1 is the record, 916 is the save percentage, and 324 is the goals against average. And Tom McGuckin, Zach, has been nothing short of stellar for the Hat-Tricks this season and really grown into that role as really now the battle for number one is on between him and Dylan Kelly.
And, you mentioned it at the end of last night's broadcast where you said, Dylan Kelly, he can get comfortable in the net because he knows he has Tom McGuckin behind him. I like the fact that both Dylan Kelly and Tom McGuckin have played so well over the course of the regular season. As you mentioned, both of them with 13 wins. And, yeah, it's a battle now. It can only serve to make both goalies better. And when you have two goalies who are hot, two goalies who can come into a game, take it over, and deliver the victory, it's going to work out well for you. DK got the win last night. Let's see what McGuckin can do tonight.
We're welcoming into the broadcast booth here Jack O'Mara. Jack, welcome to the broadcast. And we were talking before about the impact that the defense will have in this contest on both sides. We highlighted Anthony Paisano for the Delaware Thunder. Who on the blue line are you expecting to have an impact for the Danbury Hat-Tricks this evening?
Well, I think Steve Brown. I mean, he set the physical tone last night. He was an impact player in his own end, and I think he's going to have to be up to the task once again because, again, that blue line is as slim as can be right now. I thought Easton Oliver had a step up yesterday. Thought he performed very, very well, but Steve Brown's going to have to lead by example tonight.
We have a little bit of a hold-up here as we have to change the nets here at Danbury Arena. There's equipment malfunction that we have yet to see here this year, but hey, if you're around minor league hockey for long enough, you see a little bit of everything. We've seen glass malfunction, we've seen ice malfunction, we've seen parts of the boards. Now we have the nets having to be replaced because of wet paint on the netting.
I was wondering why the nets would have to be replaced because, again, that's a new one for us at least. Yesterday we had a delay during the warm-ups as there was a rough patch of ice in Delaware's end. And, this time Johnny Ruiz, I see him go over to the crossbar, runs a finger on it, and then shows it to the referee. Normally, that will get you a double minor for a high stick, but in this case, looks like they'll allow the nets to dry off a bit, and we'll get the warm-up nets back in here.
Well, nevertheless, it allows us a little bit of a moment to remind you to be sure to follow the Danbury Hat-Tricks across all social media platforms. Follow at Danbury Hat-Tricks on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for live game streams such as this one, as well as exclusive behind-the-scenes footage, highlights, interviews, and more. And join our mailing list at DanburyHattricks.com. And we have a slew of home games coming up that you won't want to miss, including our first look at Western Division opponent Columbus River Dragons next weekend, and Danville Dashers coming up in early March. So some new faces coming in that you will not want to miss. Head to DanburyHattricks.com/tickets to get your seats today. Getting set for the opening face-off, it will be Evgeny Demin going up against Johnny Ruiz, who was the hero last night with the game-winning goal. And it caught all of us by surprise, that play right off the face-off, because Ruiz was so slippery getting past the defense.
Absolutely. He took his time and just went from the red line into the goal. Just such a great play.
Puck is dropped and away we go as the Hat-Tricks will be skating from left to right on your YouTube screen here in the first period, donning their orange alternates. Sent in towards Simonetta, who is leveled at the far side circle, but the Delaware Thunder retain possession as Easton Oliver will flip it out towards the neutral zone where Charlie Pence Jr., the captain of the Delaware Thunder, will settle things down. We saw a lot of play in the neutral zone last night between these two teams, as here's Simonetta taking a step in and firing one just wide. And we saw a lot of play between the blue lines. It was almost like a chess match, guys. Neither team wanted to give very much of an inch, and you saw a lot of, very conservative play.
Well, neither team wanted to give an inch, and at the same time, Delaware had such a hard time getting into the Danbury zone.
Here's Colin Edwards on the right side. Edwards has Bolin Porter in the slot. Will chip it with one hand towards the net, and Aaron Taylor will steer it aside with the paddle of his stick. Long shot looking for the redirection, bouncing out in the slot. Edwards has it in his skates, kicks it to himself, sends it towards the net, and it goes off of the legs of Taylor and into the corner.
An energetic shift there for Colin Edwards. Thought he played really well last night. Couple of good chances across the goal line there for him.
And there he is, gloving it down and sending it in deep for the hat tricks before going off for a change. We saw Colin Edwards getting the better of him was Charlie Penns Jr. in the physical sense, and Penns Jr. dropped the gloves before Edwards really had a chance to answer the bell for himself, and I would expect Edwards took exception to that and wants to come out fired up for this contest.
I just want to know where head coach and general manager Billy McCreary keeps finding these players, because Danbury has lost guys either to loans to the SPHL or the ECHL. They've certainly lost guys to injury, and yet take a look at someone like Colin Edwards. Edwards last played college hockey in the 17-18 season at William Patterson, a Division I ACHA school.
That shot gets swallowed up by McGuckin.
So he plays college, takes a year off, and now not only does Billy McCreary find him, but it turns out this guy can still play hockey. He's on the second power play unit. Not bad for a guy who took a season off.
And he has 4 points in his first 6 games, including a Gordie Howe hat trick last Saturday against the same Delaware Thunder.
I think it speaks a lot to the type of hockey that the Danbury hat tricks play. Is anybody who gets called up, you're expected to perform. You're expected to perform at a high level. Colin Edwards is another man on that list who just comes right in and makes an impact.
Shinkarik up with Mattias Kasich into the attacking zone. They're met by the defensive stick of Eric Masters and sent out in the neutral zone. McIntosh now will play it back towards Jordan Clark. Jordan Clark didn't see a whole lot of ice time last night.
Still has the fishbowl on, too.
I wonder if it has to do with a facial injury of sort, because Jordan Clark is one of the team leaders in penalty minutes, 121 to his name so far this season in 26 games. You wonder if perhaps there's something going on.
Well,
a broken nose, a broken jaw.
It must be. This is professional hockey. You're not allowed to wear the full face shield. We'll find out during the intermission.
As a try now from a sharp angle, Dunford rifles one off the padding of Tom McGuckin. A lively bounce pops out to the neutral zone. And in transition comes Nicola Levesque, leads Corey Anderson, and they will say he's offsides. And Corey Anderson slumps his shoulders. Well, some good early chances there from the Delaware Thunder. Dunford in particular with a nice wrist shot, and they're shooting on a much smaller goalie now in Tom McGuckin. Tom McGuckin comes in standing at 5'10", which is 7 inches shorter than Dylan Kelly.
And Dylan Kelly, I wonder if Delaware considers that in their planning, just because in last night's game, when Kelly was down in the butterfly, it's still there's not a lot of room between the shoulder and the bottom of the crossbar. With McGuckin, maybe there is that bit more space up there. We'll see if it makes a difference.
And icing will bring the faceoff back down towards McGuckin. Just over 3 minutes gone by here in the first period. Taylor Cutting will be out on the ice with Brian Dunford and Patrick Tundle. Countered by the line of Levesque, Phil Bronner, and Corey Anderson. Bronner has it in the right wing of his own end, has some time and space, sends it back towards his defenseman Vlad Gavrik. Gavrik out with Cruz Listmayer on the defensive pairing. And Gavrik had a defensive miscue last night that led to a breakaway goal, the game-tying goal for Taylor Cutting. But really, that one error aside, Vlad Gavrik has been playing a very strong defensive game, and they've relied on him for a lot of minutes with all of these absences.
Well, with all the absences, it's giving Gavrik that time really to shake off, I don't want to call it the rust, but just get the familiarity back. Gavrik's a winger by trade. He has to play the blue line. It's a different way of thinking.
And that is the instincts you have to shake off. Muscle memory for years he has to shake off. Here's now Municello trying to get around Easton Oliver. Oliver forces him off the puck. A good play there by Easton Oliver. Now here's Morrissey turning around and racing ahead with Colin Edwards. Morrissey looking to the net and sending one well wide. Edwards will pick up the loose change. Sends it in down low. Morrissey takes a check from DeCristofaro. Now Bolin Porter has a man at the point in Kenny Garrett. He'll switch places with him and leave the puck for him. Now Garrett out to Edwards in the slot. Shot saved. Rebound by Morrissey off the side of the net. Morrissey now behind the cage. Taylor back to his feet, looking to set it up in front for Bolin. Porter fanned on the shot on the near side post. Got broken up a bit by some defensive legs.
Great job by Colin Edwards there, moving the puck quickly. Morrissey just ran out of space.
Edwards once more entering back in. Bolin Porter streaking to the net, slides it to Morrissey. Morrissey with a shot goes off the mask of Taylor. 4.5 minutes into the first period, and Shane Morrissey, once again, doesn't matter who's on his line, he can generate offensive chances. Municello in now with Simonetta and Demon. Met by Steve Brown, loses the handle on the puck. Puck pops up over the cage and out into the slot.
Don't see that too often.
Wonky bounce there. I tell you what, the puck takes some pinball bounces. We've seen that really all weekend and really all season, especially with Danbury ice. As there's a shot by Simonetta that's padded out by McGuckin. Up comes Anderson with a head of steam. Lead pass for Shinkarik. Shinkarik dishes to Kasich on the right wing. Kasich to the slot. Shot through traffic, save. Rebound tried by Gavrik. He scores! Vladislav Gavrik!
You shake off those instincts, but you never quite forget them. Gavrik was sneaking in from the blue line. He was looking for the pass. Instead, he gets the rebound. Either way, he makes no mistake, and it's 1-0 Danbury.
And this starts from one end of the ice to the other. It starts with the shot that goes off of McGuckin's pads, picked up by Anderson, and then full steam ahead. Everyone's got one thing on their mind, that's get to the under end of the ice. Good movement through the attacking zone for the hat-tricks. And then, of course, Gavrik gets open in that slot area after the rebound, and it's actually an impressive play too because he bobbles the puck a little bit at first. He's still able to get the shot away, and Taylor's just a little bit out of position. He's not able to get back up into his goalie position, and that's why Gavrik's able to find the back of the net.
Well, for Vlad Gavrik, that is his 12th goal of the season, and the big fella stays hot. He's got himself 4 multi-point performances in his last 8 games, and he's put himself in a position now to expand on that as he's already got the game's first goal just over 5 minutes into the contest as we clean up the carrots that have been hurled out onto the ice, per custom here in Danbury.
I don't see any from Stu Leonard's today.
Not
so.
today. You know, we keep waiting for a repeat performance of that one magical carrot that found its way onto the ice, but
it's a magical carrot.
Well, you can't prove me wrong. It's like the black cat in 1969 for the New York Mets. You know, you can't tell me that I'm wrong because the Hat-Tricks have been pretty darn successful since that Stu Leonard's carrot found its way onto the ice.
Like the black cat with the New York Giants this past season?
Look,
opposite way of thinking, but
oh boy.
You're 100% right, Casey. It's that magical Stu Leonard's carrots that have initiated this run for the Hat-Tricks.
How silly of me. Here I thought bringing in guys like Shane Morrissey, Carter Shinkarik, that was the key. No, it was the carrot. That did the trick.
Of course.
Well, the boys needed their vitamin A, and their night sight got a little bit better too. So
5-second rule. If it's on the ice for a quick amount of time, you go over, what's up, Doc, and you're good to go.
You're basically just tossing it onto a freezer. The ice surface, I'm sure, is immaculate and food safe, of course.
Nice play on words there, as Immaculate High School is one of the schools that plays here. Very nice pun play there.
Every now and then I get lucky. It has certainly been a busy day here at the Danbury Arena.
That's true, as game time was delayed by a bit because of the Danbury Colonials NA3HL game that was before this, and that game was delayed because of Westcon State University playing before that. So a very eventful day here on this particular ice surface.
Yeah, you know, with the Colonials game, we actually only had one intermission. It was halfway through the second period. A bit of an adjustment that the players had to make, but the Danbury Colonials skated away with a 6-3 victory.
The Colonials are trying to make sure that all the fans tuning in at home don't have to stay up late like it's a West Coast road trip.
The league hasn't expanded that far yet.
Yet, give it time. Anderson with a long shot goes off the side of the net. Anderson now with another try, goes off the stick of Kasich, who goes into the near side corner. As Oliver at the point leaves it for him. Oliver takes a step in, leaves it now for Carter Shinkarik. Shinkarik slides it across the way. Now Anthony Paisano flips it up off the glass. It'll be settled down by the glove of Cruz Listmayer, who retreats into his own end. Off the boards and out into the neutral zone it goes. Paisano with a long shot goes off the end boards. Wasn't close to Tom McGuckin. Lifted up by Oliver, but kept in by Brennan Young, who had a breakaway goal last night, out towards Jordan Clark now in the neutral zone. Clark over towards Listmayer. Listmeyer skates out from behind the Hat-Tricks net and feeds Nicola Levesque, who skates ahead now with Johnny Ruiz. Ruiz slides it towards Aaron Taylor, who will hold 6.5 minutes into the first period.
You see how quickly Danbury gets from one end of the ice to the other. Again, Listmeyer out from behind his own net, motors it on ahead, and then it's led forward for Ruiz again. He just puts it towards the goal, get the offensive zone draw. Bam, Danbury's back in for a face-off.
It'll be McIntosh and Ruiz in the dot to the right of Aaron Taylor, won by the Delaware Thunder. Here's De Cristofaro skating out from his own zone. Is met at the Delaware Thunder bench, and it will go up, and it'll be swatted out of the air by Charlie Penn Sr., the head coach of the Delaware Thunder. He flips it back over towards the officiating crew.
And give Charlie Penn Sr. credit. I mean, putting this team together as quickly as he has, you never thought of Delaware really as a solid market, and yet here they are being successful on both off the ice and working on the on-ice product.
Now here's Ruiz with a try that goes off of the end boards and over to the far side circle. Masters in the corner. Loops it around the kick plate. It'll be settled by Ruiz towards the slot just behind Bronner. Now Brennan Young skates up. 3-on-2 developing if they hurry. Here's McIntosh trying to get it over to Masters, and he had it behind him. Bronner goes slip and sliding into the boards. Bronner from his knees is still able to get it out into the neutral zone, though. Delayed penalty going against the Danbury Hat-Tricks as a result of the play. Taylor is over by his bench. Extra skater is on in the form of Taylor Cutting. De Cristofaro will deke a bit too wide, and that'll be an offsides going against the Thunder, but a power play coming up. A slashing call being assessed against Bronner.
So Bronner does well on the back check here. He forces a turnover with the puck. Then he takes a tumble. He's actually getting taken down on the play. And no call there, so Kenny Garrett comes in. He's not happy about that, and he's going to get called for the slash.
I was confused as Bronner was skating over towards the bench. I thought they might have got him from when he took a couple of whacks from when he was down on his knees. I thought they might have caught that, but
Bronner was annoyed because he got tripped on the play. That's how he ended up on the ice in the first place. That call went undetected, and well, now we get to see Delaware's power play for the first time this evening.
A home run pass looking for Carter Shinkarik. Shinkarik in aggressively behind the end line. Almost a miraculous pass that would have sprung a shorthanded break. And you never can sleep on Carter Shinkarik, who has himself a shorthanded goal on the season. It was scored just a couple weeks ago. Shot rings off the iron off the stick of Simonetta, and out into the neutral zone it goes. And Tom McGuckin gives an appreciative tap of his friend in red. Oliver into the corner, takes a check from Simonetta. 1:25 to go on the power play for the Delaware Thunder. Paisano is out there with Municello, Simonetta, Demon, and Penns Jr. Now up to Shane Morrissey, one-on-one on Penns Jr. Morrissey dances to his left. Forced wide by Penns Jr., an errant shot goes into the corner. Now Paisano will get around him and settle things down as he tries to quarterback this Thunder offense up the ice.
And Danbury will take this all day, spending time in the attacking zone, even on the penalty kill. They've done that a couple of times. Good penalty kills last night. Need to continue that.
Flips up into the air over towards the Colonials logo. It will be gloved out of the air by Gavrick. He punches it really forward and then retreats back towards Kendall Bull and Porter. Now up the left wing to Gavrick, entering in 2-on-1, now shorthanded with Anderson crossing the way to Anderson just in his skates. A bit too hard for Anderson to handle and a bit too far out in front for that one-timer. And now up the ice is Christers Bormanis.
And how about that? Delaware gets caught in a change and give up a 2-on-1 on the power play?
30 seconds to go still on that power play as there's a shot by De Cristofaro goes into the corner after a stop by McGuckin. Christers Bormanis, the former hat-trick, taking his first shift of the game. It took 9 minutes for him to see the ice for the first time after seeing plenty of time last night. Had a couple of breakaway chances and odd-man rushes as well, so I'm a bit surprised to see his ice time limited in this way.
Behind the play, Easton Oliver went down the tunnel real quick to get checked out by the training staff. He's back on the bench now.
There's Bormanis with a long shot that's steered aside by McGuckin. Another try gets redirected in front by Masters, and McGuckin is up to the task. 9.5 into the first period. Hat-Tricks lead 1-0. Up for Shinkarik, 2-on-2 developing now as Penns Jr. joins the defense. Leaves it for Levesque, which is places shot through the legs just wide. He's able to get a shot off, nutmegging Taylor Cutting with that shot.
Well, not only did he get the shot off, but by crossing with Shinkarik, that opened up that side of the ice as Penn stayed with his player.
Oliver will dump it in as It'll be gloved and settled by Taylor, and an aggressive pass up the ice, looking for Simonetta, who leaves it now for Municello. Municello with a hard shot goes high and wide. You can tell the Thunder are aiming higher on McGuckin, trying to pick that corner and test that glove. Here's Municello.
They've also gotten a couple of rebounds too, Casey.
And trying to figure out this netminder, a netminder that really the rest of the league has struggled to figure out in the recent months. Here's Gavrik gliding ahead. Gavrik with Levesque. Taken away by Municello. Delaware Thunder settling things down as Charlie Pence Jr. will direct traffic. He calls for Young to come back into his own end, and the Thunder will set up one of their plays. They get it up to Masters. Can't field the puck very cleanly, and Morrissey sends it back in, so that didn't work. We'll try it again from now the defensive zone of the Thunder. And now a long pass from Clark is out of reach of Brennan Young, and this one will go for an icing, so not exactly the play that they had in mind. And now the Delaware Thunder will have to come back towards their own zone.
Yeah, they're trying to find a way through the Danbury defense, and Danbury's done a good job so far to start this period of getting players back. That's the most important thing. They don't want to let too many breakaways like we saw last night, breakaway after breakaway, and a couple of goals coming from that. So I think that it's definitely been something that they wanted to take care of early in this game. They've done so far.
Shinkarik will be out there with Kasich and Morrissey. Wins it back to Oliver. Oliver flipped ahead by Morrissey on the backhand. Loose in front. Masters corrals the puck for the Thunder. Running away from some Hat-Tricks players pursuing him. Hat-Tricks aggressively chasing after the puck carrier, trying to force some mistakes in the offensive zone. Kasich being run up against the boards by Pence Jr. Trying to use that lower body strength to get the puck out to a teammate. Masters is able to retrieve for the Thunder. Out of reach of Young, cut off now by Oliver. Deflected by a Thunder player, no icing on the play. Here's Pence Jr. now. 8.5 to go in the first period. Shots on goal currently even, 6-6 for both sides. Here's Clark out to the neutral zone. Brown bats it ahead. Now cutting on the right wing, try to get around Gavrik. He's knocked down to the ice, which is a difficult task to do on Taylor Cutting. One of the more solid bodies and one of the feistier players on the Delaware Thunder. Hard check behind the net. Edwards trying to take the puck away. He comes together with Bryce Litke. Kept in by Brown at the blue line. Now forced out by Dunford as here comes Cutting on the right wing. Cutting with Dunford. Stops in front of Gavrik. Shot goes off the defensive stick of Gavrik. Gets his stick in the lane. Another try from the boards by Tundle. Gets cut off in front. Now the Hat-Tricks trying to do a good job of closing things off, and they're really limiting the options in the middle of the ice right now. As here's Bolin Porter entering in with speed and sends one into the catching glove of Taylor.
Kendall Bolin Porter took that from behind his own net, skated around 3 Thunder forwards. I mean, the stick handling and the speed on display by Kendall Bolin Porter.
And I think that has to be a point now in this media timeout for Charlie Pence Sr. to say, hey guys, we need to force more turnovers in the neutral zone right now. Danbury's getting from one end of the ice to the other this whole first period. I mean, we've played 12 minutes, 33 seconds, and it seems like they're just going from one end to the ice to the other without any issues whatsoever. That needs to change if you're Delaware.
They did a better job of it yesterday where they were able to break things up in the neutral zone. We also saw the Carolina Thunderbirds a couple weekends ago do a fantastic job of really limiting Danbury in the neutral zone, but again, that play right there, it's open, and if it's open, Danbury's going to take it.
Well, the Delaware Thunder right now trying to open up space in front, and they're trying to really break through the neutral zone trap as well that the Danbury Hat-Tricks have set up for themselves. It's a defensive clinic right now being put on by Billy McCreary and company, and Billy McCreary being a stalwart of the blue line himself, that's something that he's been preaching all season long.
Oh, preaching, and he's also led by example, because when he's had to put on a jersey, that's where you can find him on the blue line. It's one thing to say it, it's another thing to do it.
Face-off now coming out towards the right of Aaron Taylor. It will be Ruiz going up against Demon. Evgeny Demon has been quiet so far on the weekend. Comes in with 27 points in 33 games. Had a 3-game point streak snapped last night, and well, he's been one of the hat-trick killers so far this year. He has 8 points in 7 games against the Danbury Hat-Tricks, but wasn't much of a factor last night. I'm curious to see how his utilization, as this icing goes against the Delaware Thunder, curious to see how his utilization will affect that, because really he's been playing more defensive-minded minutes this weekend.
Absolutely, and you see what that's going to affect the rest of this game, and if they can make that adjustment with that, I think it's important to play a full 60 minutes.
Well, you got to play the full 60 minutes, but beyond that, Danbury does such a good job. They did it yesterday. They're doing it again today of just possessing the puck. It doesn't give Demon a chance to even get anything going.
Looking for Bronner, it's just out of his reach. Into the near side corner it goes. Paisano and Ruiz coming together. Paisano will shield the puck away with his large frame, sends it up towards the midboards, and Municello will spring Demon. Now looking for Simonetta, goes through his wickets and over towards the end line, where McGuckin will send it up the boards. Held by Demon. Crossing the way, now taking a step in, is Basie. Around the boards, still playing the boards, trying to win a puck battle against the wall. Easton Oliver cuts the puck off, lifts it up and out. So once more, the Delaware Thunder with offensive zone time, but not much pressure on McGuckin. 6:20 to go in the first. Here's Basie. Has Young to his right, looking for him, out of his reach. Morrissey will intercept. Leaves it for Vlad Gavrik, who in turn pitches it back up to Morrissey. Morrissey with Kasich. Shinkarik joining in the rush. Morrissey will send it behind the net, and down to the ice goes Kasich. That will draw a penalty, as Kasich was brought down from behind, and that will be a Danbury Hat-Tricks power play.
Well, I believe it's going to be Evan McIntosh going to the no, rather it's going to be Alex Basie going to the box. McIntosh had a few words for Matthias Kasich after the whistle had blown, but Danbury gets to go on to the power play. 6 minutes remaining here in the first period. They've already got the 1-goal lead. Jack, this is a great opportunity to double up on that.
Absolutely. I think they're in good position with this game overall. I think that they have the edge right now, and oh, look at that. It is going to be McIntosh who's going off, but I was just about to say that the start of this game, the first 14 minutes, I didn't think it was going to be this calm between the two sides. Based on how things ended yesterday, I thought we were going to see a bloodbath in the first couple of minutes, but it's been calm other than that one penalty. I guess McIntosh had thought Kasich went down a little bit too easy.
Well, there is plenty of hockey to be played, and now Charlie Pence Jr. going after Kasich.
Towards the slot it goes, is picked off, and here's Demon with Municello, intercepted by Ruiz, prevents a short-handed chance. Here come the Tricks in transition. Ruiz, high slot, looking towards the net, swallowed up by Taylor. And you are right, as Charlie Pence Sr. got into it with Billy McCreary on the bench, Anthony Paisano got into it with Nicola Levesque on the ice, Shane Morrissey took a gloved punch from Patrick Tundle at the end of the game, and really there was plenty of bad blood to go around, and we saw a couple of bouts of fisticuffs last night, and you are right. I was expecting a bit more in the early goings, but perhaps they're waiting for the score to get a bit more separated, as right on cue, there's a power play goal! Phil Bronner puts the Hat-Tricks on top 2-0.
Oh, this play starts with a shot from the point. It's loose in the slot. Phil Bronner, he's a great garbage man, and that's exactly what he does, putting it in the back of the net. Not much that Aaron Taylor can do when he can't see the puck.
Well, we saw a lot of puck movement yesterday from the Danbury power play. This is just a simple power play. Shoot the puck to the net, get guys in front there, and Phil Bronner does the rest. I mean, he's one of the best players in this league on power plays, getting into the dirty areas and scoring goals like that. Picks up a second goal, very important in this stage of the game.
Well, it was a scramble in front, and that's the kind of havoc that Phil Bronner can wreak when he's setting the screen in front of Aaron Taylor. And he capitalizes on the rebound. The garbage man, as Zach McGinnis calls him. I like that.
I do.
Carl Malone was the mailman. Phil Bronner is the garbage man. I like that. Anderson chips it ahead. Here's Anderson with a 2-on-1. Anderson with Edwards. Edwards stops short, deking around Taylor. His shot goes into the padding. Edwards ran out of room to maneuver and ran out of moves to try. As now Edwards, from down on his knees, takes a couple of shots. Anderson will be held by Dunford, as Colin Edwards had a couple of whacks at the puck in front of Taylor, sent it right into his padding.
I think he should have passed that a little bit sooner there, Casey, but I think part of the reason why he's getting so many blows after the whistle was the fight that occurred yesterday. Edwards went after it, And this is just some extracurriculars. Guys saying, how do you do? Taylor cutting right there with him as well, trying to start things up again. Yikes.
Well, we were mentioning when the physicality would start back up again, and Edwards seems to be a marked man. Again, dropped the gloves last week. And he seems to be, I don't know, something about him is drawing the ire. Face-off will be now to the right of Aaron Taylor, and you are right. Going back to that 2-on-1 opportunity, Edwards was holding the puck, and he had the slot available with Corey Anderson. When you have a 2-on-1 like that, you exponentially increase your odds of scoring if you're able to get that pass across Royal Road.
I think even if he takes that shot and tries to get a rebound, I think he just took too long with the puck there, Casey. That's the biggest thing about that play. Here we go.
Drop in the gloves. Here we go. Patrick Tundle and Matthias Kasich. Circling. They're at dead center. Now they engage a couple of swinging lefts. Tundle gets some shots in with some rights, trading lefts, rights. Kasich now throwing some jabs with his left. A harsh Donnybrook as now down to the ice goes Tundle. Kasich on top. And that draws some roar of approval as Kasich wants to hear it. And Kasich will be shown the door.
4:52 remaining here in the first period, so he'll get an early start on his intermission. I was watching that fight, and you know what struck me? It was Corey Anderson at the blue line slamming his stick on the ice. The boys are fired up right now.
Yeah, that wasn't planned, was it?
Well, that's the second time we've seen Matthias Kasich in a sort of staged bout right off a face-off. It happened at the start of the third period on the November 23rd game against the Battle Creek Rumblebees when he had a staged fight to start the period. And that's really, again, that's the kind of thing that we talk about at the FPHL level. You want someone to answer the bell. I always think back to that conversation we had with Nick Nieder on the broadcast for that game, where he said, sometimes you just want to try to put a stop to things. And stop putting a stop to it with your fists is sometimes the answer at this level of hockey.
And I give Kasich credit because he was eating a couple rights early in that fight, and then he was able to turn things around.
Patrick Tundle, oh boy, he threw some haymakers on that one.
Yes, he did.
He looked like he was button mashing in Mortal Kombat. Behind the net it goes. Ruiz looking to the net off the end boards.
Go on a combo streak and you just keep hitting the same button over and over again.
Well, after that, Kasich got in about 5 straight lefts with the jab. That's the strength of Kasich.
Here we go again.
Here's Paisano and Levesque. Paisano, one punch, and down goes Levesque.
Levesque never even had a chance to take his gloves off.
And Paisano wants more. Paisano. Billy McCreary is up over the bench, and he's calling for him. Calling for the official. And Paisano leaning over now with Colin Edwards over by the bench. Charlie Penn Sr. will try to talk his big man out of some further danger as Paisano having further words with head coach McCreary.
I'll tell you what, linesman Chris Montalvo has a lot to deal with escorting Anthony Pisano to the locker room there. That's a lot of work.
It's a bit like containing the Hulk.
You can just barely see it. You don't have much of an angle on your screens at home.
There it is. Edwards is leaning over the glass right now. He's got his hand in the face of Charlie Penn Sr.
Yeah, he has to be careful because if you do anything from the bench, that's when things get nasty. Oh, boy.
Assistant coach Johnny Krapinski peeling Edwards off there. Paisano is still on the bench. Now he's made his way down the tunnel. So you guys were saying about things, not much animosity so far in this game. Well, it's changed a bit.
Well, it was a powder keg. It was waiting to erupt. It was almost like a stick of dynamite, like Wile E. Coyote. You're just waiting for the explosion after the long fuse.
Oh, we're having plenty of fun here at the Danbury Ice Arena. And, I still see the linesman telling Paisano to go to his locker room as he's just behind the Delaware bench. Again, you can't really see it at home. You see just one of the linesmen, really just a helmet. And we'll get everything sorted out here.
Well, we have a conversation right now as we try to get things settled down. 4:17 to go in the first period. A 2-0 Hat-Tricks lead and some quick bouts. We'll see what else is on the fight card tonight here at Fight Night here at the Danbury Hat-Tricks. It may be Valentine's Day weekend, but
yeah, it was
they're
much
not
more
exchanging
loving.
pleasantries.
Yeah, no, it was a much more loving game yesterday.
And I apologize I even said anything about nothing boiling over.
Yeah, this is your fault.
You
It
spoke
is.
way too
I
soon.
did.
You spoke way too soon. As now Nicola Levesque, who is a player assistant coach, getting an explanation from the officiating crew as they've announced a power play going against the Delaware Thunder, as still we have conversations between Edwards and McIntosh. I'm genuinely surprised that Colin Edwards is still there at the bench and hasn't been given an unsportsmanlike conduct yet.
Well, that's the thing. He got right up to that line. He didn't leave the bench. Yeah, he leaned, but he never did anything.
That's a fine line.
It's a fine line.
He's reaching over with his arm. You could very well make the argument that he was deserving of that, and I wonder if, as we get this sorted out, he's going to get one as well.
It wouldn't surprise me, and quite frankly, I think it laid some groundwork for what could come later on in this game. And we'll see if we can get word on the official penalties, as 2 minutes is up on the board with Paisano's name on it. And I did hear mention of a misconduct of some kind. I just don't know.
Well, I believe they will be giving a misconduct for the instigation of the fight to Anthony Paisano.
That makes sense. And Levesque is going to be shown the door for Danbury as well, so he'll get an early start on his intermission.
Well, I tell you what, honestly, if you're the Delaware Thunder, this is the game that you want to play. You want to get into the Danbury Hat-Tricks' heads, and you want to get as many of their skilled players off the ice as possible. We were speaking with Billy McCreary after the game, where he goes, their roster is built for physicality and for grit. Our roster is built for a different purpose, and we'll see what kind of game they want to play. That was part of his post-game comments.
Well, assuming that the penalty summary is correct, they'll have to find that grit without Anthony Paisano, as he is listed with a game misconduct.
We'll see.
Could just be a scoring error. We'll find out for certain between the periods, but I'm curious if Paisano gets the game misconduct for what went on after the fight when he refused to go to the locker room.
Christers Bormanis will be meandering over towards the penalty box to serve the penalty for Paisano. Well, it looks like after all of that, we have a power play coming up for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. And we'll see when Nicola Levesque will rejoin as well, as Levesque has been tossed from a game already this season, that coming back on November the 16th against the Elmira Enforcers.
We might have to go to West Coast time at this point.
Well, we were just talking about how things got delayed a bit, and there's Gavrick with a bomb now from the far side circle that's blocked in front. We're talking about how things got delayed in the games beforehand. Now this opening period has taken quite a bit of time, huh? Well, we're back to playing hockey for the time being. Here's Gavrick on the left wing, leaving it back for Morrissey. Gavrick, Morrissey, Ruiz, Bronner, and Shinkarik, the five-man unit. Unicello out with Demon, DeCristofaro, and Penns Jr. as the penalty kill for Delaware. Ruiz will settle things down and leave the puck for Shinkarik. 1:20 to go in the power play. Shinkarik to Morrissey. Morrissey with space in front of him, elects to send it across the way to Ruiz, has a pick in front of him in Bronner, trying to get past Penns Jr. Good play by Penns Jr. as he gives a fist pound to Evgeny Demon, and they go off for a change.
1:05 remaining on the power play. Paisano did not receive an instigator. He received 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct, 5 minutes for fighting, and a game misconduct.
Well, that must be for what happened in the tunnel, and again, I renew my surprise that no one on the Hat-Tricks got anything for that bench altercation as well. Over to the near side corner it goes. Carter Shinkarik. 40 seconds to go on the power play. Leaves it for Easton Oliver getting power play time in the absence of Levesque. Oliver and Brown. Very rare that we see two defensemen on the ice on the power play for the Hat-Tricks at this point.
Well, half their power plays hanging out in the locker room right now.
That's true. Kasich and Levesque. Over to Bolin Porter with Brown setting the screen in front. Edwards, high slot, turns around, slides it to Anderson, picking a corner and high and wide.
Didn't miss by much, and there was daylight.
McIntosh cuts the puck off. They will have a delayed penalty going against Delaware, a slashing call.
I think it's going to be Jordan Clark going to the penalty box. Let's see who makes the walk of shame. 2:26 to go here in the first. 9 seconds remains on Delaware's power play. So Danbury's going to have a very abbreviated 5-on-3, but they'll keep the man advantage almost till the end of this period.
The 5-on-3, you only need a couple of seconds, if only just to set things up on the face-off. You're allowed some time to set up shop and move the puck around at will. You have a lot of open spaces. You are right. It's Clark going over towards the box. Christers Bormanis will rejoin the fun in 9 seconds.
That's gotten fun.
Yeah.
Ruiz wins it over now to Morrissey at the near side point. Crossing the way. One-timer by Shinkarik, sent well high. Gavrik out to Morrissey once more. Shinkarik wants the one-timer again. Morrissey down low, chipping it back to Morrissey in the slot. Shot saved by Taylor. Closing the 5-hole, and he frustratedly flicks it out towards the slot.
Yeah, that's a little 1-2 pass right there. Morrissey takes it in and finds Ruiz at the goal line. And Ruiz, no doubt about it, the puck was just hopping a little bit, so it was tough for Morrissey to get any power on that shot. That's why it was much easier for Taylor to handle.
McIntosh and Ruiz, as we're still at 5-on-4 for another minute 45. Charlie Pence Jr. behind his net, backhanded over to the point, kept in by Gavrik. De Cristofaro takes a swing and misses. Bronner tying up the puck. As a man in Ruiz finds him. Now out to Gavrik, playing the perimeter. Here's Shinkarik with Morrissey to his right, find him. Bronner setting the screen in front, Ruiz at the bumper. Gavrik at the far side circle if they can find him. He's calling for it. Shinkarik sends it down low to Ruiz. Ruiz has Morrissey across the way, looking towards the net, off the side of the net. Slinging it out of the zone is De Cristofaro. Shinkarik holds at the red line. Delaware unable to get a change. Here's Morrissey turning around in the neutral zone, halfway through the penalty to Jordan Clark. Here's Bronner. Backhand move in front, chipped just wide. Rolled off the stick of Johnny Ruiz. Shinkarik takes a step in to keep the puck in the zone. Morrissey bats it out of the air, down low to Ruiz. Ruiz in Gretzky's office waiting for options. Bronner at the corner finds him. Bronner feeds Ruiz. Ruiz, sharp angle try, gloved and held by Taylor. With 38 seconds to go in the power play, 1:04 to go in the first period.
You had a good example of the power play that Billy McCreary likes to use with this grouping out there. You have Shane Morrissey at the top. You have Carter Shinkarik and Vlad Gavrik off on his flanks. It's an umbrella formation. I'm surprised at how deep Vlad Gavrik gets on that, and yet we've already seen him find the back of the net so far.
Anderson with a shot off the faceoff that goes into the Viking on the center of the sweater of Aaron Taylor, and he holds. Bolin Porter will be out with Edwards and Anderson. Brown and Oliver complete the power play unit. Chipped out of the zone by Delaware. Dunford aggressively in on Oliver. 25 seconds to go on the power play. Bolin Porter cuts to his left. Bouncing puck goes into the corner. Anderson fields out to Brown. Brown has Edwards calling for it down low. Shot by Oliver looking for Edwards' redirection. It goes off his stick and up into the netting, out of play. And Edwards for a brief moment was wide open at that far side post.
Yeah, he's finding the good places. I really liked his game this weekend. I mean, he's really had a different step, but we saw him a couple of weeks ago. Just didn't look comfortable, kind of getting his hockey legs back underneath with him. But his play, his positioning in the offensive zone has been fantastic.
Bolin Porter takes a check from behind with 35 to go in the period. 5 seconds to go in the power play. Down low, here's Edwards. Looking out to Bolin Porter. That will do it for the power play. Out of the box and racing towards the bench is Clark. Still a 5-on-4 for Delaware. Trying to stuff it in at the far side is Edwards. It pops out. Brendan Young over the boards onto the ice. Throws a hard check on Steve Brown as Brown had his back to the play. 10 seconds to go.
That was a dangerous one as Young hit Brown from behind in front of the Delaware bench.
Young cuts around Ruiz, looks to the net, blocker save McGuckin, and that will do it for the first. Goodness me.
2 goals, 2 fights, not bad.
2 fights and a whole lot more that could be ahead. And we were wondering when the physicality would pick up, and it picked up in a big way, and that is exactly what Delaware wants from a mind game set point. But they still find themselves trailing on the scoreboard, and they're trailing in shots 15-7 as well.
And I think it's going to take a lot more to beat Danbury than throwing a couple of punches. We've seen the way that they've responded over the course of seasons, and a 2-goal lead for them right now. Heading into the locker room, the fact that Anthony Pisano is out of the game now is such a huge thing for them moving forward. I think, you dropped a couple of gloves, you had to go to the box. You take this 2-0 lead, you go to the locker room, and you're excited about it.
Well, we'll be back in a moment once the ice is cut, as we get a moment to let the blood settle down a bit after it came to a boil. You're watching Danbury Hat Tricks Hockey on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel. Casey Bryant alongside Jack O'Mara and Zach McGinnis. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for live coverage of the Danbury Hat Tricks as they take on the Delaware Thunder here at Danbury Arena. 2-0 is your score here in the Hat City. But first, it's time for the FPHL out-of-town scoreboard. Here's Zach McGinnis.
Thanks, Casey. Out in Michigan, the Port Huron Prowlers have a 4-3 lead over the Mentor Icebreakers. 23 seconds left in that game. Mentor with the net empty. I'm going to take you on a journey here. We're going to go down to Georgia, Casey, where the Battle Creek Rumblebees had a 3-2 lead in the second period. Columbus ties it with 3 seconds left in the second. They score even strength in the third. An empty netter does it. The Columbus River Dragons, a 5-3 victory over the Battle Creek Rumblebees. Meanwhile, to our west, out in New York, the Elmira Enforcers and Watertown Wolves are tied at 1 halfway through the second period. Out further west, the Danville Dashers and Carolina Thunderbirds are just underway. 10 minutes into the first period, no score in that game. And right here in Danbury, it's a 2-0 lead for the Hat Tricks through 20 minutes of play. Vlad Gavrik connecting at the 5:11 mark. Carter Shinkarik and Matty Kasich getting the assist. And then Phil Bronner on the power play with 5.5 to go in the period. Johnny Ruiz and Carter Shinkarik, a 2-assist game for him. Not a bad start. And, well, that doesn't say anything about the festivities that we had.
Well, festivities is one word for it, as we saw plenty of fisticuffs to go around in the first period. Matthias Kasich and Patrick Tundle dropped the gloves. Anthony Paisano knocked out Nicola Levesque with one punch. And then Paisano was given a game misconduct for his participation in some extracurricular activities over by the tunnel. He and Colin Edwards were sharing words. He was then giving it to head coach Billy McCreary, who was very fired up from the Hat Tricks bench. And Billy McCreary, Grant, he was on the ice not a couple weeks ago. It seems like it's very hard to take the player out of the coach.
Oh, absolutely.
Falls victim a little bit to the fire.
Yeah, especially because you've got, when you're out on the ice, you know, it's a different feeling as opposed to just being behind the bench. And in that situation, McCreary wanted nothing more than to strap him on one more time and go out there. Certainly no stranger to the physical side of things. And well, I don't recall him having a fight here in Danbury. Certainly no stranger of dropping the gloves. He would have loved to have gone after Paisano. Instead, he stays on the bench. He stays disciplined.
Well, Anthony Paisano is skating over towards the penalty box, so it was listed online on the official score sheet as a game misconduct. But I suppose they will only be giving him a 10-minute misconduct.
Well, that would make sense if we go back to the conversation we had before. If it's an instigating penalty, then you're going to have that 10-minute misconduct. There was no instigator attached on the official score sheet. It was instead 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike, +5 for fighting, plus a game misconduct. But with Paisano hanging out in the penalty box, I suppose that it was entered wrong.
Well, if Paisano is able to re-enter this contest, as it looks like he will be able to, that is a major boon to the Delaware defensive core.
To their defensive core and to their team in general, just because Paisano, he's a leader. He's a veteran of minor league hockey. He joined at Delaware later, only a couple weeks ago, but he's the kind of guy who can lead by example. He's the kind of guy who the Delaware Thunder can look up to.
As we get a communication right now between Charlie Pence Jr. and the officiating crew, as the boys in stripes have certainly earned their keep so far in this evening, and we're only through 20 minutes. And it's been one of the longest 20-minute periods that we've really had all season, as it's already 8:30, guys.
Yeah, it's 8:30. It's 8:30 out here. We're through one period of play. It's another late night here in Danbury.
Where else would you rather be on a Saturday night?
Nowhere.
The night
Nowhere.
is spent and my money is young. Let's play some hockey.
Hey, guys, out in Mentor, the Icebreakers have tied it up. A power play goal with the net empty. Tied at 4 with the Port Huron Prowlers, and they're going off to overtime now.
A desperate point for Mentor as they try to keep that separation with the Delaware Thunder right now in the Eastern Division.
Indeed, because Mentor they have 21 points over Delaware. That's only 7 wins. Moreover, Delaware has 4 games in hand over the Mentor Icebreakers. And again, they have those series coming up against the Battle Creek Rumblebees. Delaware can certainly find themselves in the playoff position very quickly if it works out that way. They'll have to deal with the next 40 minutes here in Danbury, and, well, they would be very happy at least to escape with a point here as well.
So as Nikola Levesque is ushered into the penalty box, he missed the last 5 minutes of play, and he'll be able to rejoin the action pretty much after the first whistle, as will Matthias Kasich as he glides out from the tunnel, and he gets a roar of approval from the Danbury Hat-Trick faithful as he skates out onto the ice and joins his cohort in orange. As we mentioned, a couple of times here this weekend, there is no divider in that penalty box, so the two sides of each of the warring houses are able to communicate freely in that penalty box, with really all that's standing between them as the game day staff, who are just hoping that
the innocent game day staff,
who are just hoping that their wages are enough to cover whatever injuries that may occur if Anthony Paisano decides to make a charge like a raging bear going after her cub.
I'm glad I'm not down there.
Well, the puck is dropped and away we go as the Hat-Tricks will be skating from right to left on your YouTube screen. They're donning their orange alternates, which you can place a bid on if you call 203-794-1704. That phone number again on DanburyHattricks.com. You can place your bid for the silent auction taking place after tonight's contest out in the main concourse. Bouncing puck in the near side circle of the Delaware zone. Bolin Porter throws a stick at it, gets it out to Morrissey. Takes a step in, now with a defender in front of him, sends it into the catching glove of Taylor, and he holds with 53 seconds gone by here in the second. And we'll see what sort of tone will take shape here in the second period as Levesque and Kasich, Tundle, and Evgeny Demin will skate over towards the Delaware bench. I would anticipate if you're on the Danbury bench, you want to keep up a sense of feistiness, but you want to keep your heads and not be lured into a game of back and forth.
100%. I mean, they've been playing pretty well in this game. A couple of good power play opportunities, moving the puck well, getting from one end of the ice to the other. Their transitional game, the way they're handling the puck is very strong, much better than last night. Just stay with your game right now. Don't let Delaware by any means change this up for you.
Bolin Porter picks up the loose puck behind the net, was sitting there for a while. Calling and receiving is Gavrik. Doesn't get all of the one-timer. A wonky bounce gets over to Shinkarik, who tries to kick it to himself, but can't settle it down in time. Gavrik keeps it in at the blue line, sends it low for Morrissey. Has it behind the cage. Flips it out to open space. It'll be picked up now and carried ahead by Brennan Young as McIntosh and Masters with him. Now out to Morrissey, who kicks it to Shinkarik. Shinkarik up ahead with Bolin Porter. Holds the toe on the blue line. Shinkarik with a wrist shot goes high and wide. Up into the midsection of Morrissey, who turns around and sends it towards Shinkarik. Calling receiving is Bolin Porter. Stick failed him, and he will go off towards the bench. Settling it down is Jordan Clark behind the Delaware net. 2 minutes gone by in the second. 2-0 Hat-Tricks to Cristoforo. It was in the second period after falling behind 2-0 that the Delaware Thunder were able to strike. It was a breakaway goal scored by Brennan Young. 2 breakaway goals scored yesterday, the only 2 scored by the Delaware Thunder. But so far in this game, guys, the Danbury Hat-Tricks have done a much better job of tightening up and not allowing those rush opportunities.
Absolutely, and one of the power play opportunities that Danbury had towards the end of it, at the end of that first period, Steve Brown was playing almost all the way back to his own blue line, waiting for the player to come out of the box just so that there was no breakaway.
Easton Oliver on the right wing takes a check from Jordan Clark, but is able to dump it in zone. And Oliver will reach out. It will hop off his stick and go back towards the neutral zone, and he'll retreat. Gavrik swings and misses as the puck, and now a chance here for Delaware if they're able to get it out to the slot. Looking for Dunford, can't connect. Now transition 3-on-2 if they hurry. Anderson entering it on the right side. Kasich down low, looking for him, and a good stick there by Litke to break up that pass.
Edwards has to do a better job of giving himself separation from the puck and from his teammates there. He's too close to Kasich. He's not an option for Anderson in that possession.
Garrett skates behind his net and works his way up. Ruiz losing his stick on the play was Taylor Cutting. That opens up some space for Ruiz. Entering in on Basie. Loops around behind the net. Sets it up in front for Gavrik. His shot, glove save. Rebound swallowed up by Taylor. And Gavrik shakes his head. What a stop there by the Delaware netminder.
Now you look at Johnny Ruiz. He has his head up this whole time as he swings around the net looking for an option. It's Gavrik who presents himself. And what a save there. Aaron Taylor, not one but 2, is able to make those 2 stops and hang on there, especially that second chance shot, Zach. He comes out of his crease there to cut off that angle.
He comes out of his crease, and moreover, it's difficult for him to handle because the puck's fluttering the entire way in.
Here's Demon charging ahead. Has Simonetta with it. Demon on his backhand, cutting to the net. Pad saved by McGuckin. McGuckin holding the goal line very firmly. Now Ruiz lifts it up towards the net. Taylor thinks about it. Now he does skate out of the net and has a lot of time to work with in the corner. No one was really coming, but still coughs up the puck to Levesque. Now Municello will pick it up and start ahead for the Thunder. Stripped from behind by Johnny Ruiz, which draws some oohs and ahs from the crowd as Ruiz with a nice stick play. Brown out from behind his net. Errant pass goes out of reach of Shane Morrissey, and they will deem it an icing. As Bolin Porter was off to the races trying to beat Litke, but they will send it all the way back towards McGuckin. 4.5 gone by here in the second.
4.5 gone by, and Delaware still has not recorded a shot on goal so far this period. But with the offensive zone face-off, we'll see who goes out there. We'll see what they can generate.
Christers Bormanis will be out there for his first 5-on-5 shift. Only took one shift in the first period, and that came on the power play. Looking for Bolin Porter up the right wing. This will be out of his reach, and this will go for an icing. And will come back towards McGuckin.
Well, it didn't work the first time. Why not get another offensive zone face-off and give Bormanis another opportunity down in Danbury's end?
I think, guys,
that's what we call a mulligan.
Yeah, exactly. Take too many of those on the golf course.
This time it will be Brennan Young taking the face-off, and still won by the Danbury Hat Tricks. Oliver in the corner has a couple of Thunder players surrounding him. Bormanis gets a stick on it, but Morrissey kicks it out. Here's Shinkarik racing ahead. Bolin Porter with him, looking for Bolin Porter down low, broken up by Charlie Pence Jr.
And a good breakup by Pence Jr. as Shinkarik, he puts a little air underneath that puck, and Pence Jr. gets it with the shaft of his stick.
Bormanis upended by Steve Brown. A long wrist shot gloved down by McGuckin and kept alive. Bormanis took a shoulder to the midsection, and now Colin Edwards has his bucket knocked off by Brennan Young. And he will skate back, and do we have a penalty as a result? We
do. It's going to go against Delaware, as Edwards, like you said, lost his helmet, and going to the penalty box will be Brennan Young. He'll sit 2 minutes for head contact.
As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Colin Edwards seems to be a marked man here in this series, and he draws another high hit from Brendan Young, draws the penalty as a result.
And if you're Danbury, you take that all day. I mean, if Edwards is going to keep getting some shots taken his way, as long as he can withstand them, you know, he's going to be pretty happy that he's gotten into the heads of Delaware a little bit.
Ruiz, Bronner, Kasich, Morrissey, and Shinkarik with a power play unit. McIntosh out with Simonetta on the penalty kill forwards. Basie and Pence Jr. complete the unit. Kasich looking backdoor, fanning on it was Ruiz. And he'll bop out to the neutrals on McGuckin. Will wave Morrissey towards him. Leave the puck. McIntosh aggressively in on the forecheck. Shinkarik and company will have to go the full 200. Shinkarik has Bronner up the right wing, Kasich up the left wing. Quick passing, gets it up to Morrissey. Crosses the blue line. The Hat Tricks go to work. Morrissey stripping it away, and now a shorthanded break. Here's Simonetta. Kasich on the back check. Simonetta to his forehand. Glove save McGuckin. On another try here by Simonetta. Rolls off his stick. Now a trailing shot by Basie goes wide. Simonetta again with a shot. That's another glove save McGuckin. A flurry of saves.
And Shane Morrissey owes Tom McGuckin a dinner right now.
Here's Kasich looking for Bronner, and his shot just shanked wide. Helter-skelter action as here's Kasich again, crossing the way shot. What a glove stop, Taylor! Now it pops off the back of the net, and we get a stoppage of play. Aaron Taylor says, anything you can do, I can do better.
What a save by Taylor, but he's getting involved in this. Tom McGuckin taking a furtive look down the ice, wondering if he'll have to skate 200 feet. But Aaron Taylor, a big goaltender, uses every inch there. He's down low in the butterfly. He has to extend over to the glove side, and he absolutely robs Shane Morrissey.
And it's a tough play for Phil Bronner. That puck actually gets stuck on the back of the net there, and Phil Bronner, an ill-advised penalty really as the whistle's getting blown just don't want to take that penalty while you're on the power play in a 2-0 game. Now it gives Delaware an opportunity, maybe a little bit more open space, juices their offense up a little bit. And you're right, Zach. Tom McGuckin was taking a swig of water. His stick was sitting up on the top of the cage, looking down the 200 feet, seeing if he needed to get his horse on.
Nikita Ivandikov of the Danbury Titans has the last goalie fight here in Danbury.
Tom McGuckin, I'm sure. He's a very level-headed individual. I'm sure he wants no part of that. I mean, he may be from New Jersey and have a little bit of that Jersey swagger to him, but McGuckin is a very docile individual, and it shouldn't be lost that in that skirmish, Phil Bronner did take a penalty, and it's 4-on-4.
Well, 4-on-4 for another 36 seconds. Delaware will then go on to the power play, but like you mentioned, a lot of open space.
And on cue, Gavrik with a bomb! Get down, there's a sniper! Vlad Gavrik from the point! 3-0 hat tricks!
A sniper uses a rifle. That's what Vlad Gavrik has. He makes no mistake, just tucking it in, top shelf, right underneath the crossbar. Absolutely nothing that Aaron Taylor can do.
And it's another one of the benefits of having Vlad Gavrik back in those positions. Not only his physical play as a defender, but he's got all that room to wind and fire right off the faceoff. It goes to Steve Brown. Brown gets it right to Gavrik, and he makes no mistake. Gavrik, all that space from the blue line's able to wind and fire. And my goodness, as he teed up countless goals from that spot now since being moved to a defensive position. It's really, really good, and that's 2 for him tonight. He's had a heck of a start to this game.
Oh, Gavrik's listed at 6'4". The torque that he's able to generate in his tick.
And here he goes, hunting for the hat trick. Gavrik to the net. Glove save, Taylor. And Gavrik is feeling it tonight. Yeah. And for Gavrik, that is his 5th multi-point game in 9 games now. What a torrid stretch number 81 has been on.
And that's the secret to I don't know if it's a secret, but that's what's led to Danbury's success. You look at the goal scorers at the beginning of the year, Johnny Ruiz, Corey Anderson. They've been quieter as the season's gone on, but there's always somebody new coming in, whether it's Casper Dearson and the point streak that he put together before being injured, Carter Shinkarik, Shane Morrissey, now Vlad Gavrik. Add him to the list.
Behind the end line it goes. Now it is officially a power play for the Delaware Thunder for another minute. It will be an icing assessed against the Thunder. And the faceoff will come back towards Aaron Taylor. Bolin Porter, Ruiz, Easton Oliver, and Kenny Garrett, the 4-man penalty kill unit, taking this offensive zone draw. Mark Anthony Simonetta will take the faceoff for the Thunder. They will deem a faceoff infraction against Delaware as they jumped the gun a bit. Patrick Tundle a bit too eager. Jordan Clark will skate over towards his bench now, ushering on a different change. We'll see who they throw on. It'll be Evgeny Demin.
No, he took too long.
And no, they will roll Jordan Clark back onto the ice, and now Charlie Penn Sr. apoplectic. Leaning over and spewing fire and fury upon the officiating crew. Faceoff tied up in the dot. Johnny Ruiz trying to win the puck away from Penns Jr., and Ruiz takes a hard hit from behind from Penns, and that will be a penalty. A cross-check going against Delaware, and that will negate the final 53 seconds of the power play.
Well, Delaware is going to need to stay out of the penalty box if they want to come back in this game, and going to the box is actually going to be Brennan Young once again.
I thought it was Penns that threw the hit.
Well, Penns was right there in the neighborhood as well, but either way, if Delaware wants to get back into this game, they need to start staying out of the box. If you keep going to the penalty box again, Danbury's got a very dangerous power play, and Delaware needs as many players on the ice as possible. Now, this worked last time, so as we were saying, plenty of open space out there.
Well, it only took a couple of seconds for 4-on-4 for Gavrik to find the back of the net. Gavrik out on the ice once more. Gavrik takes a check from McIntosh, still is able to get the puck up to Shinkarik, slides it to Oliver. Oliver to the net, saved by Taylor, rebound loose in front. Morrissey down to his knees, trying to get it to Shinkarik, taken away Simonetta. Now up the left wing, here's Penns Jr. towards McGuckin. He'll freeze the puck. 23 seconds to go. And the penalty to Phil Bronner before a minute-long power play for the Hat Tricks ensues.
And keep in mind, Simonetta had that breakaway shorthanded just a few minutes ago. Delaware, they're dangerous.
Well, this will be the first offensive zone draw at 4-on-4 for the Delaware Thunder. Demon and Municello out with Basie and Pence Jr. It's won by the Hat Tricks, and Bolin Porter shielding the puck with his lower half as it knocked off his stick and will kill off some seconds to Gavrik. Now Bolin Porter ambling ahead, switches places with Oliver. Gets it over to Oliver in the circle. Sends it towards the net, easily steered out by Taylor. It's officially a power play now for the Danbury Hat Tricks for a minute. Municello glove saved by McGuckin, gets a piece of it, but not enough. Trickles over the goal line and they score. A shorthanded goal. And the Delaware Thunder get the answer they so desperately needed. It's Municello.
Okay, maybe Delaware doesn't have to stay out of the box. Municello, he puts a little sauce on this wrist shot, and he shoots it at a difficult area for any goaltender to save. It's immediate. It's basically aimed at McGuckin's ear, and yeah, he gets some of it with the glove, not enough, and it just trickles over the line.
And you see how much space Municello had when he entered the zone. Nobody picked him up. He's skating in, he's skating in, he's skating in. He gets the wrist shot away. Yeah, McGuckin gets the piece, but Municello walks away the victor. And that's really important, a really important goal for Delaware in this game because it changes the whole aspect of where they are here. Now they kill off this penalty and they feel like, hey, we're only down by 2. We have some momentum going our way. Let's try to kill off this penalty.
And keep in mind, with the next whistle, I believe Anthony Paisano will finally come out of the penalty box.
30 seconds to go in the penalty to Brendan Young. It'll pop out to the neutral zone, and the Delaware Thunder have broken through McGuckin. They still chase 2. Here's Morrissey with 20 seconds to go on the man advantage. Looking for Kasich in the bumper position, taken away. Simonetta up with Tundle. Simonetta picks it up along the boards. Stops short behind the net. Has it knocked off his stick by Johnny Ruiz. One-touch pass, and out come the Tricks in transition. Morrissey trying to dangle around Clark. Finds some open space. Out to Bronner with a backhander that's blocked in front. Power play has officially expired. Clark in his skates. Turning around, and a backhand pass is shoveled up to Tundle. Drops it back for Young. Young with a shot off the legs of Easton Oliver, and he's hurt. And now Tom McGuckin got run into, and Steve Brown drives a man into the boards. I believe that was, yes indeed, that's Tundle, as Tundle collided with Tom McGuckin in the blue paint.
You talked about answering the bell. Steve Brown was ready to do that, and Tundle just turtled.
And Brown will be shown the door, but he will get a round of applause from the Hat Tricks faithful as he and Tundle are both escorted to the penalty box. Tundle will get a seat next to his cohort, Anthony Paisano.
You know, with this parade to the penalty box, at least they've got Paisano there to greet everybody as they come and go.
Norm.
How do you do? May I take your hat, sir?
So 2 minutes up on the board for both Tundle and Steve Brown. I'm curious to see what happens when they get out of the box if Brown wants to have a proper tete-a-tete.
I'm sure Steve Brown would be okay with it. I don't know if Patrick Tundle wants to do it.
I don't know. You saw how Tundle threw him against Kasich.
Steve Brown's a different animal, though.
That's true. That's true. The tail of the tape, Steve Brown is 6'2", 229. Comparatively to Matthias Kasich. Kasich is listed at a similar height, but 30 pounds lighter. Municello squares to the net. Glove save and held by McGuckin. And you see how quickly McGuckin kept his glove and brought it back into his chest. After that sort of hole-in-the-glove moment, you can tell he's trying to get back to his fundamentals and receive the puck as opposed to fighting it.
And once again, Municello with a shot in a great position with plenty of time to launch it.
So 4-on-4 action for another minute 45. Gavrik holds behind the net. Now Kenny Garrett drops it back for Gavrik, who maneuvers out from his own zone. Saucer pass is settled by Levesque. enters in with Anderson. Anderson has it go into his skates, taking away Bormanis. 2-on-1 the other way with Municello. Bormanis joining in is Basie. Bormanis, a shot save. McGuckin. Rebound loose in the blue paint. Diving on it is Anderson. Another try from a sharp angle is held by McGuckin. And that'll draw a whistle. Christers Bormanis perhaps getting a bit too trigger happy, trying to score against his former team. Had two other options joining the rush. You got to move the puck there.
You got to move the puck, especially because McGuckin, he sees what's going on. He sees Bormanis is basically head down, just going straight ahead. It allows him to line up simply with the shooter. He's not worried about that pass. He doesn't have to cheat one way or another.
And we're seeing a couple times now that the Hat-Tricks, the last man of defense in the attacking zone, turns the puck over. And then that's what generates the odd man rushes back the other way. Delaware countering very, very well right now, forcing a ton of turnovers in their own zone.
Shots on goal in the period even at 7-7. Here's Shinkarik trying to get in behind the defense. Rings it off the side of the post and behind the end boards. Listmeyer will retreat. Now Shinkarik holds. Cuts across the blue line. Bolin Porter to the net. Shinkarik will retreat into the neutral zone as Listmeyer goes off for a change. He's replaced by Kenny Garrett. Phil Bronner also to the bench, replaced by Morrissey. 35 to go on the 4-on-4. Penns Jr. with a stretch pass up to Demon. Demon enters in on Garrett. Crosses to the slot, leaves it for Simonetta. Simonetta has a couple of hat-trick sweaters around him, taken away by Ruiz. Ruiz charging ahead. Penns Jr. in front of him. Jr. gets a stick on him, and a good play there by Penns. Now Gavrik with 15 to go in the open ice. Here's Gavrik entering in on the right side. Gavrik drops it back for Morrissey. Has Garrett at the center of the blue line. Morrissey looks to the net, shoots it high and up into the netting. They will say it is deflected, I believe.
Now, only 3 seconds to go before Steve Brown and Patrick Tundle get out of the penalty box. And we'll see how Danbury's defense reacts to that. Cruz Listmeyer will come onto the ice. They'll keep Vlad Gavrik out there, they'll keep Vlad Gavrik out there as well. We'll see what Brown does.
I'm curious. They probably would have Gavrik slide up to his natural position at the wing. Gavrik, pitch and catch Listmeyer, quick shot, redirected in front. And Brown will skate right over towards the bench, and Colin Edwards will join as the forward. Here's Anderson behind the end line. Edwards in the near side circle calling for it. Kasich spins away from a defender. Has Dunford harassing him from behind. Gavrik trying to hold the blue line, cannot. Kicks it back to Edwards. Crosses the way to Anderson. Met by Clark, and up come the Thunder. Here's Tundle. Long shot, sent high. 7:40 to go in the second period. 3-1 is your score in favor of the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Here's Bormanis, met by Anderson. Tundle skates over towards his bench. He's hunched over in pain. Jordan Clark punches it forward. One hands it towards the Hat-Tricks net, goes behind the end line. DeCristofaro settles at the blue line, evades Anderson with a nice move and a wrist shot that's punched out of the air by McGuckin. Penns Jr. comes together with Anderson. Delayed call going against Danbury as Edwards will touch up. As Corey Anderson went sliding, it looked like he was sliding into home plate with that attempted blocked shot, but Vlad Gavrik will be shown the penalty box door for a slash. Or no, excuse me, was it a slash or a hold?
It was a hold.
It was a hold, I believe.
Either way, it's 2 minutes on the board, and Vlad Gavrik, who has 2 goals already, finds himself in the penalty box. Danbury's defense, depleted as it is, has to settle for another 2 minutes without having a player back there. It's, again, you can't keep going to the penalty box. Not the way these teams are.
Municello, Young, and Demon, the forwards out there on the power play for the Delaware Thunder. Simonetta and Penns Jr. patrolling the blue line. Taken away by Bronner, has Paydirt in front of him. Penns Jr. trying to square up a hit. Throws a stick check, and that's enough to interrupt progress for Bronner. Now the other way, here come the Thunder. Simonetta with Young and Municello. Municello shielding the puck away from an attacking Oliver. Young wires it down low. There were 2 Thunder on each post. Couldn't connect with either one of them, but they were lurking. Now out to the slot. Young drags around Bolin Porter, trying to get a shot off. He's hit by Bronner. Oliver flips it towards the blue line. Penns Jr. settles it down. Municello takes a stick from behind. Retains possession. Danbury trying to force them against the boards. A good check by Kenny Garrett. Out to Simonetta. Squares up a wrist shot off the glass. Lively bounce goes out towards the circle. Bronner trying to force it out of the zone. It's kept in by Pence Jr. Hard check to behind on Easton Oliver, and that will be a penalty going against Brennan Young. Young threw a cross check to Phil Bronner's neck, and he will be called. That'll negate the final 47 seconds of the power play.
Man, he has spent a ton of time in that penalty box today, Brennan Young. We saw him there yesterday, and once again, it's just Delaware shooting themselves in the foot. Better puck movement with the offensive zone attack, moving it from circle to circle. Not a ton of shots. Tom McGuckin stood strong when he needed to. And then you just take a silly penalty, really one that Brennan Young doesn't have to take with the puck still in the zone. So very, very interesting now as the Hat-Tricks don't realize they have to come all the way down and face off in the attacking zone for them.
Yeah, they were looking for a defensive zone face-off. And meanwhile, while everybody was going down there, Cruz Listmayer skated in front of Anthony Paisano, and Paisano gave him a quick two-hander to the forearm.
Paisano is back on the bench. We'll see when he decides to join the fray. Back out on the ice, Shinkarik to the high slot, looking down low for Morrissey, picked off by DeCristofaro. Cristofaro will elect to skate ahead with it. To Masters on the left wing. Being run off by Steve Brown. Now Basie, long shot, seen all the way by McGuckin. 25 seconds to go on the 4-on-4 before Gavrik rejoins the action.
Good job by McGuckin, making sure there's no rebound there. Like you said, he sees it all the way, put it right into the chest, hold on for the face-off.
And you see how strong Delaware's been when they're generating those rebounds. Just nobody on the receiving end so far for them. Tom McGuckin doing a good job there just to hang on. And Cruz Listmayer did a good job actually to clear out that area too.
15 seconds to go in the 4-on-4 as the Hat-Tricks deliberately killing off some time. They'll dump it in deep. DeCristofaro will be the first to retrieve for the Thunder. Unable to ice yet. He will send it down smartly towards McGuckin. It's a wise clear. You can't ice it, so you send it on goal.
I like the accuracy from so far away. Sign him up for Scoro.
Power play for a minute for the Hat-Tricks. Bolin Porter out with Morrissey, Shinkarik, Gavrik, and Colin Edwards. Christers Bormanis getting his first penalty kill shift of the weekend for the Thunder. Shinkarik with a shot blocked by the legs of Basie and cleared. Vlad Gavrik, who has been a difference maker in this contest, has 2 goals already, will start up the ice. Levesque takes a check from behind and Dunford. Now Bolin Porter. 5 forwards out for the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Here's Bolin Porter. Has Anderson behind him. Will swap spots. Down low to Levesque looking across the way. They score! Corey Anderson with a power play goal. 4-1.
That was pretty.
Tic-tac-toe hockey, baby.
That's all you need. As it's Kendall Bolin Porter who brings it along the near side wall. He finds Nick Levesque, who's down in that give-and-go area behind the goal line. Everybody turns to face Levesque. It leaves Corey Anderson all alone on the back door, and he makes no mistake drilling it home.
And how many times have we seen Corey Anderson score from that circle on the power play this season? I mean, he's practically automatic from that spot. And that's exactly what Danbury needs at that point in this game. It seemed like we were on 4-on-4 hockey forever, and they finally just find a way to get going, and that's exactly what you want. Move the puck down, across, boom, nobody picks up Anderson, and he makes no mistake.
I'm reminded of one of the first goals scored in Hat-Tricks history where Corey Anderson planted himself at that far side circle here in opening weekend. As we get a moment of recognition for our military veterans in the crowd. It is Military Appreciation Night here. As we get a moment of recognition for all the veterans applauding. A packed house here tonight at Danbury Arena for Military Appreciation Night.
Yeah, not many seats available here on this side of the ice. There was a larger contingent of fans over on the other side, but well, some extracurricular activities, let's say, cleared out a couple rows.
And this will be the largest attendance of the night so far. Statistician crews will still work to get a final number, but it will be the largest crowd on hand. Close to a sellout, but not quite there yet.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Steps.
Well, if you are part of the Hat Tricks army that's here at Danbury Arena, you've witnessed one of the more intense battles of the season. Between two heated division rivals playing each other for the 4th time in 2 weeks, and well, they're getting a little sick of each other.
A little sick of each other.
Danbury Hat Tricks, goal!
Under 4 minutes of play here in the second period. Here's Mattias Kasich. Settling it down at the point, looking down low for Bronner, taken by Ruiz. Ruiz, sharp angle trying to sneak it underneath the pads of Taylor. Taylor up to the task, gluing his pad against the ice, and he'll hold with 3:39 to go. Kendall Bullen Porter will get the secondary assist on that Corey Anderson goal. And what a feed that was from Nicola Levesque. I'm not over it still. What a pretty pass that was.
He's such a good player in that. He'll score some goals, but his first response to anything is, I'm moving the puck. I'm going to find somebody. He's got such great vision, and it's just tape to Anderson. And Anderson's fumbled over the puck a couple times tonight. Puck's been in his skates a couple times. Makes no mistake here. Puck's right on his stick. Great pass.
Anderson with a wrist shot, gloved out of the air by Taylor. Faceoff will be to Taylor's right. Well, the Danbury Hat Tricks looking to extend what has been one of the most dominant runs on home ice of any team this season, short of perhaps the Carolina Thunderbirds. And even if you're just going to compare numbers, the Thunderbirds do have the upper hand in terms of points and wins, but considering that the Hat Tricks swept a 3-game home series against these Thunderbirds, as a setup in front for Kasich gets shanked up into the netting. And the Hat Tricks have been arguably the best home team in the FPHL at this point, and they're looking to improve on that here tonight.
Absolutely. You look at the first weekend, the 2 losses to Port Huron in overtime. Those are tough. Then you had that one loss to Elmira where it was 8-3, and then that other series against Elmira where they swept, they kind of took Danbury out of their game. Other than that, we really don't see too many times where Danbury on home ice had struggled. And even in the Port Huron series, the first series as a team, they fought the Port Huron to overtime twice.
Here's Cutting with a sharp angle try that's cut off by McGuckin. As a shot was blocked and Cutting was racing ahead, and Zach, what a powerful move. Cutting couldn't hit the brakes. He looked like Luis Mendoza barreling into the boards from the Mighty Ducks too.
Oh, he managed to pirouette himself into the corner from the crease. Yeah, the guy's churning and burning his legs, but a good job by McGuckin to stay low on the ice, stay solid, make sure that puck doesn't leave the zone.
And he's done that all night long, guys. Tom McGuckin keeping his pads down, because if you lift them up at all, that 5 hole's exposed, anything could trickle in.
To the near side midboards with under 3 minutes to play here in the second. 4-1 is your score in favor of Danbury. Here's Ruiz being harassed from behind by McIntosh. McIntosh getting his arms all wrapped up around Ruiz, and that will be a penalty. Going against McIntosh as now we get Levesque and McIntosh communicating with each other over by the blue line and taking a step up and trying to answer the call is Basie.
Once again, Delaware, they're starting to feel like they might be losing potential in this game. They're down by 3 again. Maybe they don't have anything going for them. Guys getting after it. Vocal getting in between each other.
Oh, Basie with words for Nick Levesque. Levesque would not be well served by dropping the gloves. You're up by 3, 2:49 left in the second period. Yeah, no, it's no need to get after that, but Danbury's going to go on to, believe this, their 7th power play of the game. They're 2 for 6 so far.
Well, their power play was already among the strongest in the league, operating at 24.3% heading into this game, second in the league, behind only the Port Huron Prowlers, who have one of the most lethal trios of players in Matt Robinson, Matt Graham, and Dalton Jay. Gavrik over to Bolin Porter, now to Levesque. Out to Gavrick, fumbles with the puck for a bit, slides it to Anderson as Brown setting the screen in front. Charlie Penns Jr. trying to clear the crease. Brown out to Gavrick now as Bolin Porter in the high slot. Bolin Porter winding, firing, and blocked in front by Municello. Anderson spinning away from Paisano, and the shot gets covered up by Taylor. This is Anthony Paisano's first shift since the altercation at the end of the first period.
That's about a full 20 minutes of game time that Paisano was not available. And a good job by Corey Anderson to dodge the check there. Bit of a spin move. You rarely see that.
Levesque back to Bolin Porter at the point. Pitch and catch now as Levesque takes a step in, wires it down low for Anderson. Stuff in trying the far side post. Kick save by Taylor. Taylor doing a good job of tracking a bouncing puck in front of him, looking like pinball in front of him.
That last shot came off the stick of Steve Brown.
Yeah, you see how much trouble he was causing down low in that blue paint, and Paisano couldn't come over to him. It was Penns, and that's a mismatch. Brown's got the size advantage in that play, and you see just Brown kind of fighting, poking away there.
Morrissey to Shinkarik. Flicks it towards Ruiz. Has Bronner at the near side post. Ruiz patrolling the perimeter of the zone. Now takes a few steps in. His shot hard. Rister goes off the glass. Keeping it in at the blue line is Shinkarik. Has Morrissey to his right. Gets it to him. Winding, and Shinkarik unable to get that saucer pass off for a shot. Here's Shinkarik once more, with Bronner taking Taylor's eyes away to Ruiz, sending one wide. Now Morrissey with a second try that goes into the padding of Taylor. 45 seconds to go on the power play, and it's a shooting gallery for Danbury.
Well, Johnny Ruiz unable to really get everything that he wanted on the shot from the pass, courtesy of Carter Shinkarik. But then I like what Morrissey's doing. He's sneaking down low off the kick plate. He tries the far side stuffing attempt.
And this is one of the better power plays for Danbury tonight, just not letting Delaware clear the puck whatsoever.
Bolin Porter trying to sauce it over to Gavrick. Instead gets a bit too much of it and sends it straight up into the air. But Gavrick with a nice play to glove it down. Bolin Porter looking out towards the slot. No one was home. And Gavrick will be forced to retreat with 30 seconds to go in the power play. 1:15 to go in the second period. Hat-Trick's looking to provide a bit more cushioning to what is already a 3-goal lead. Here's Bolin Porter entering in on Basie. Bolin Porter spins away from a check, retaining possession and sending it down low behind the end line. Brown throwing a two-hand check, gluing a man against the boards. 3 Hat-Tricks trying to dig it out. No one in front. Anderson now waiting for it. He's planting himself in that blue paint. Levesque to the slot. Shot by Anderson, blocked in front by the legs of DeCristofaro, and that will do it for the power play. Kept into the zone, though. Here's Levesque. Levesque. Gavrick wants it, gets it. Fans on the pass attempt back down low, but cuts off the puck along the boards. Good play by Gavrick to recuperate for his mistake. Now down low to Levesque. Chops it towards the hash marks. It'll be taken away by Delaware. 25 seconds to go in the frame. Levesque to Bronner at the blue line, entering in. Crossing the way to Ruiz, looking to the net, blocked in front by DeCristofaro. Ruiz with Oliver taking a step in. Oliver shot, kick saved by Taylor. 10 seconds to go in the frame. Oliver down low for Bronner, set up in front. Kasich couldn't get his stick on it. McIntosh was lifting it from behind. 2 seconds and 1 in the period. One last chance for Danbury. Kasich holds on a bit too long, and that will do it. 4-1 is your score at the end of 40 minutes. An eventful period. Delaware is able to break through McGuckin, who has saved for 1 goal I'm sure he would like to have back. Has stopped 16 of 17 tonight. And boy, what a frustrating 40 minutes for the Delaware Thunder, because you feel like you've played, all things considered, aggressively. You've been able to take the body on Danbury. You've answered physically, and you've been able to draw them into some fights that is uncharacteristic, let's say, of this quantity at least, for Danbury. And you still find yourselves trailing 4-1. That's got to be frustrating.
It's frustrating, but at the same time, it's self-inflicted. They have given Danbury 7 power plays. Danbury has scored on 2 of them. If you're more disciplined, you don't take those penalties, it's a 2-1 game going into the third period, which sounds a heck of a lot different than a 4-1 affair.
I mean, Danbury's taking advantage of every opportunity they can in the attacking zone. You've seen how strong they've been moving the puck there, and it's really where Danbury wants to be. Delaware's tried every hand to stay physical, to take them out of their game by fighting, and they haven't budged yet. It's really a tough spot for Delaware. I thought they were a little bit more tightly wound yesterday, letting a little bit too much go tonight for them, and that's the reason why they're down by 3.
4-1 is your score at the end of 40 minutes. We'll be back in a moment after some on-ice festivities and after an ice cut. You're watching Danbury Hat Tricks Hockey on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel. Casey Bryant alongside Jack O'Mara and Zach McGinnis. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for live coverage of the Danbury Hat Tricks as they take on the Delaware Thunder here at Danbury Arena. It's time now for the FPHL Out-of-Town Scoreboard. Here's Zach McGinnis.
Thanks, Casey. We were lied to. Port Huron with a 4-3 victory over the Mentor Icebreakers. It appears as though Port Huron counted Mentor's last goal twice, and that's why it was listed as 4-4. So the Prowlers with the 4-3 win over Mentor. The Columbus River Dragons 5-3 over the Battle Creek Rumblebees. Out in Elmira, the Enforcers have taken a 4-2 lead over Watertown with about 8 minutes remaining in the third period. Meanwhile, out in Illinois, the Carolina Thunderbirds have a 1-0 lead over the Danville Dashers as the second period comes to an end. And right here in Danbury, a 4-1 game in that period. Vlad Gavrik with his second of the game. Corey Anderson on the power play. Thomas Municello, shorthanded for Delaware, breaks the shutout bid for Tom McGuckin, and boy, that doesn't even get anywhere close to the amount of penalties that we saw in that period.
Yeah, the statistician crew has to be so frustrated with the amount of paper they've gone through, the amount of times they've hit delete on their computer keyboards. Incredible what we've seen in this second period specifically, but all of the mess that we saw between the two sides. It's kind of a funky second period.
Oh, funky, angry. We'll see how the third period turns out, because remember, Tony Paisano, he's out of the penalty box now. This might be his last chance to settle any scores that he's built up over this weekend.
This is the last glance that either team will have of one another before the end of the regular season. So really the Danbury Hat Tricks and Delaware Thunder trying to settle scores, and for the Danbury Hat Tricks, this is a vitally important game in terms of playoff seeding as well, because their magic number at this point is down to 24. Now, if they win tonight against the Delaware Thunder, that shrinks by 6 because of the 3-point swing in the FPHL. They could be locked into a playoff spot within a week at this rate. If they take, looking far ahead, of course, you're playing the Columbus River Dragons next week, and the Delaware Thunder continued their tough stretch down the line, and the Danbury Hat Tricks really are counting down the days until they officially clinch up their playoff spot. But you do have to close out this third period to get to that point. You can't count your chickens before they hatch. And we've seen bigger comebacks than this in Danbury Arena.
And we've seen bigger comebacks. We've seen faster comebacks as well. They've done a good job of giving themselves this 3-goal cushion. Let's see, and let's watch them try and finish it out.
The Danbury Hat Tricks will be skating from left to right on your YouTube screens. Here's Levesque entering in. Levesque has it one-handed towards Bronner. Bronner tried to spin around at the puck and took a swipe at it, but whiffed. Now up the left wing is Masters. Masters to the net, blockered aside by McGuckin. The first shot on goal McGuckin faced in the final 8 minutes of the second period, spilling over into the third. Here's Ruiz. Evades 2 defenders. Winding and firing from the neutral zone. Will be gloved and held by Taylor, and that will get a Bronx cheer from Section 102. Taylor cutting will flip it forward, and it gets stopped
by the referee.
Wow. Nice defensive play there by the referee. Here's Kasich entering in on the left side on De Cristofaro. Here's Morrissey behind the net. Morrissey smoked out from behind by Basie. Leaves it for Kasich. Playing the cycle game. They've got Morrissey between the hash marks. He'll loop it around to the near side corner. Morrissey will retrieve. Now over to Shinkarik. Shinkarik upended with a hard hit from De Cristofaro. Now a loose puck in the near side circle. Morrissey trying to lift the stick of Demon. Gloved down by Brown, so it'll go no further than the early part of the Thunder bench, and Brown takes a hard check from Taylor cutting.
He took that check, but then Brown fell right into Demon, and Demon was the one who ended up on his backside.
The domino effect. Morrissey looking for Shinkarik. His pass knocks the stick out of the hands of alternate captain Basie. Now a turnover in front. Here's Morrissey trying to get a shot off. It goes through the blue paint wide. Here's Municello trying to get it back to De Cristofaro. We're seeing sort of the same issue as last night, where Delaware is having a devil of the time breaking out of their own end.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see just the 2 forecheckers in orange just approaching and attacking, making it impossible for Delaware to even gain that blue line.
Ooh, a hard check as Municello is upended by Easton Oliver. Now Bormanis in ahead along the boards. He's forced off the puck by Garrett. Garrett loses his stick, but is still on top of Christers Bormanis, holding him from up high. Now out to Paisano, a shot kick save by McGuckin. Bormanis once more to Paisano. Didn't get a lot on the shot. Paisano once more, the puck gets to him. Once more to the net. That one's blocked in front. Out to the slot. McIntosh swallowed up by McGuckin. Paisano with 4 different looks to the net. Only one actually got through to the goaltender.
And I want to keep an eye on Kenny Garrett as he took that one shot off his left hand. He was shaking it out during play, and I imagine the training staff will at least want to check in on him.
You can see how the orange sweaters around Tom McGuckin when it came out to the point area kind of parted and allowed him to get that clean lane to see that final shot before the faceoff to make the nice save, no rebound.
Gavrik will pitch it over towards Cruz Listmayer, who holds behind his own net. Masters standing right in front of Tom McGuckin, giving him a little how do you do. It'll be lifted up into the air, intended for Ruiz. The first to get there is Litke. Dunford now in front of the Hat-Tricks bench. Over to Taylor Cutting, and they will deem him offsides.
It was Masters who was way offside as the Thunder trying to enter the zone, but some more time for them in that Danbury end of the ice. It's important for them to continue to build on that and see if they can chip away here at this 3-goal deficit. Time ticking by. Obviously, Danbury, that cushion helps, and with the way that Tom McGuckin's played, I mean, he was away at the SPHL for about a month, it seemed like, and I think that really Kelly took a little bit to get going. Tom McGuckin came back, and he fit right back into the equation.
A high sticking call will be assessed here on the ice. Zach, what did you see?
It's Mattias Kasich who's going to go to the box as he came up high on the Delaware player. I do find it a little rich that Jordan Clark comes over to have some words with Matty Kasich when Clark is wearing the full face shield. So either way, Delaware will go on to their 4th power play. They're 0 for 3 so far. And again, we've said it already. If they're going to get back into this game, they really need a goal here. Time is not their friend.
3.5 gone by here in the 3rd period as a long shot off the stick of Simonetta goes into the padding of McGuckin and hold. You're right. And certainly in terms of quantity, they'll want to improve on that. They had a lot more quality chances last night than they did tonight.
Certainly.
Demon, Municello, Paisano on the forward line. Simonetta and De Cristoforo on the blue line. Long stretch pass looking for Shinkarik. He's in behind the defense. Taylor cuts off the puck smartly at his near side post. Now picked up by Demon, and in transition come the Thunder. Simonetta trying to get around a fellow number 44 and Steve Brown. Plays it back for Demon. Has Municello between the hash marks. De Cristofaro at the point. Now to the circle once more. Demon to the net, shot wide. Trying to keep it in. Hustling over is De Cristofaro. Playing it towards the net, off the glove of Oliver. Bounces over to Demon in the far side corner. De Cristofaro, center of the blue line. Long slap shot save. Rebound, another blocker save. McGuckin on Municello. Sprawling out and extending his right arm. What a stop. Now the other way. Here come the Hat-Tricks. Looking for Shinkarik and the hash marks. Intercepted. And now once more up the ice comes Delaware. Municello with Demon. Municello trying to get around Gavrik. Excellent stick play by Gavrik to take the puck away from him.
Well, not only did Municello have the lone goal for Delaware in this game, he's also been their best player in the attacking zone. He's finding the good spots of the ice. He's making some good decisions with the puck, and he just missed his second there thanks to the blocker save from McGuckin.
Brendan Young trying to get around his own man in Christers Bormanis. Sends a shot off the glass. Masters takes a check from Gavrik. 30 seconds remaining in the power play. Here's Young. Slicing and dicing his way around Bolin Porter, but Gavrik takes the puck away. Losing his footing a bit was Dunford. That provides a bit of space for Bolin Porter. Back to Gavrik. Gavrik to the net. Saved by Taylor. Rebound in front is steered aside by Masters. Now with numbers, here come the Thunder. Brennan Young hampered from behind by Anderson. Anderson with a good play to drive him into the boards. Young took a high hit, wants a penalty, no such luck. And Anderson might have gotten away with a blow to the head there. And now Taylor Cutting, dropping his gloves, trying to get a piece of Kenny Garrett. Kenny Garrett stepping in between Cutting and Corey Anderson. Garrett has his helmet ripped off, and he'll be tackled down to the ice by the officiating crew before any further blows can be landed.
Oh, Cutting just wanted a piece of somebody there. and Kenny Garrett was the closest party.
Well, he originally went to Anderson, and Anderson looked shaken up on the play like he couldn't do anything. I'm not sure what happened, but you see he's hunched over. You can't see it on your screen as they escort cutting to the box. But he couldn't go, so Garrett had to step in and protect his teammate. That's what he did.
And, Kenny Garrett's still out on the ice. I'm wondering if he's going to find his way into the penalty. Now he's being directed that way because Garrett, cutting drops his glove and starts speeding uppercuts that were just glancing off of Garrett's helmet. Kenny Garrett never really had a chance to even engage. That's not the first time we've seen Delaware just kind of jump into things in this game.
Well, if you have a look at the ice right now, Aaron Taylor is at the blue line, and he's screaming at Phil Braun.
Yeah, we'll take
And you see Dylan Kelly, who's now giving him a Bronx cheer, some sarcastic applause. Can you tell these two teams are a bit tired of each other?
Familiarity breeds contempt, and this is their 4th game in a row against each other, and they're pretty contemptuous.
And I think at this point, obviously, these two younger teams in the FPHL, obviously there's some history between Danbury and Elmira, but you're almost to the point in this initial season where you can almost classify this as a rivalry. I mean, it's really boiling down to their divisional foes, and you see what the results have been between the two sides.
Well, think about how this is the 8th meeting between them, and 7 of them have been decided by 2 goals or fewer. It's truly been remarkable how intense each one of these matchups have been. It's truly been a testament to Delaware's feistiness, for one thing, because, again, we mentioned it a lot yesterday, but they did lose Ryan Marker and Brandon Contrato. Their 2 best players. Ryan Marker is one of the best players in the FPHL.
Ryan, exactly. He had 2 goals yesterday with his new team, and leaving Delaware the way he did, that's tough.
Well, right now, Jordan Clark is giving it to the fans. He's got his back completely turned to the ice, and he's screaming at some Section 102 fans. Well, welcome to Danbury. That is really the MO of the Hat City, as the Fighting Majors are assessed, and Kenny Garrett will get an additional penalty, so it will be a power play for the Delaware Thunder for 2 minutes. And after their first power play opportunity of the period was fruitless, they have another opportunity to get back on the board. And boy, if you're Delaware, wouldn't you love to stick it to the fans with a power play goal here?
That's the fastest way to quiet them down. It's Delaware's 0 for 4 on the power play. This is their 5th opportunity. The extra penalty against Kenny Garrett was 2 minutes for roughing, and Tim Hanlon is in the box serving those 2 minutes.
Here's Shinkarik with a sharp angle, short-handed try. That goes off the end boards. Getting a stick on it was DeCristoforo. Up to Paisano by his bench. Paisano. Lead pass for Simonetta. He's into the zone. Shot shouldered off by McGuckin. Rebound goes out to Demon. Back pass to DeCristoforo. Shot blocked by the stick of Bolin Porter.
Yeah, and McGuckin's mask snapped off. So he was trying to get a whistle. He was waving his glove up in the air. I think that initial shot, Casey, did actually connect with the white mask on McGuckin's head there.
Yeah, it catches him again in a weird area. It's the shoulder and head. Delaware, they scored a goal. Municello's goal was scored shooting at the same exact area. Why not go back to that well?
Bolin Porter and Demon currently squaring off in the dot. We'll see if Bolin Porter will remain there. He's gliding over now to the wing position as the Hat-Tricks. Billy McCreary having a conversation with the officials. Now we're getting ready for some hockey. Bolin Porter wins it back to Easton Oliver. Bolin Porter and Levesque out with Brown and Easton Oliver. Now here's Tundle with Demon setting up between the hash marks. Tundle back to the net. Pitchforks it out to DeCristoforo. Settles it down. Looks to the net. Wrist shot goes wide. Minute to go on the power play for Delaware. Simonetta looking to the net. Goes wide. Taking a step into Cristoforo. Having to protect the puck from an oncoming Bolin Porter. Over to Easton Oliver, who will play it out towards the neutral zone. Levesque chasing and stripping Municello. Has a man in front. Bolin Porter, a shot stopped by Taylor. Bolin Porter took a stick to the mouth there. He wanted a call, was trying to indicate to the referee. Play goes on. DeCristoforo winding and shooting one off the glass. Tundle on the near side post. Tundle out to DeCristoforo at the blue line. 20 seconds to go on the power play. Long shot redirected by the stick of Simonetta. It goes up into the glass. 20 seconds to go on the power play. Just over 7 minutes gone by in the third period.
Well, you see 2 shots there in that sequence for Delaware. both of them Tom McGuckin's got a clear view at. So he's able to look through the lanes. It's just the shooter in him, and he's able to make 2 nice saves again to keep this a 3-goal game. So Delaware, again, getting shots from the blue line, but there's nobody in front to generate any sort of control up there. You need a deflection. You need something to go on in front of the net right now because Tom McGuckin's just too sharp.
Well, earlier on in the contest, you saw Anthony Paisano setting that screen in front of McGuckin. It's almost like they're trying to keep him out of those danger areas, to try to keep him out of the penalty box, if nothing else.
Oh, not a bad idea. It's when Danbury has 2 goals on 7 power play opportunities, you got to do something to change it.
Here's Paisano. A rolling puck somehow stays on sides. Here's Masters as the penalty is officially expired. Hanlon drags a man down to the ice. Throws an extra cross-check to Masters' back. Got away with one there. Sent out towards Paisano, who'll paws it down to himself. Up to Dunford. Gets away from Ruiz. Offsides will be assessed against the Delaware Thunder. And we'll get a stoppage in play. It is interesting. They moved Paisano out to the blue line. And Paisano's strength isn't necessarily handling the puck. So I am a bit perplexed that they would move him so far away from the net when his strength is setting that screen in front. He's so strong.
His strength is literally his strength.
Yes. Now Edwards looking across the way. Kasich's shot rolled off the end of his stick. Picked up by Municello. Simonetta with Municello in behind the defense. A shot goes off of Oliver's stick up into the netting. 8:15 gone by in the third.
Goes up into the netting, nearly left the arena.
Well, it got some air on it. And there's some room for it to fly. We've seen some pucks come down and surprise some fans over by those Zamboni doors because the fans here do love to wander.
They do. And you might notice it at home, but there are fans lining the glass all around this rink.
Yeah, we sold the most standing room tickets of any game this season overall. The most tickets sold of any game confirmed.
Oh, terrific. And they've certainly caught themselves a spectacle tonight. Hat-Trick's protecting a 4-1 lead. Puck is dropped and no one really moved off the dot there.
Oh, Municello moved. He high-sticked Easton Oliver.
Simonetta thrown against the wall by Brown. Evading a check is Demon. Demon trying to get a shot off. He's blocked and dragged down by Oliver. So Oliver goes tit for tat and holds onto his jersey and brings him down to the ice. Simonetta knocked off the puck by Oliver. Is forced to hit the reset button as he spins away from Kasich. Kasich picks it up and enters into the attacking zone. Bolin Porter to the net. Kasich sends it into the chestal area of Aaron Taylor.
Oh, 10:57 to go. Delaware, they're getting shots on goal, but they're not getting the quality shots on goal. You're seeing a lot of them coming from the point without much traffic in front of the net. And again, trailing by 3, I would expect them to get a bit more aggressive now.
Here's Shinkarik, a shot that goes off the pads. Dunford up the right wing has Tundle joining him with Brennan Young. Long shot gloved out and swatted out of the air by the paddle of the stick of McGuckin.
Nice hand-eye.
Yeah.
Hasek-esque.
Looking like he was playing ping pong out there as it goes up towards him.
Or the Irish hurling.
Now we're talking.
Well, in hurling, is that the sport where you're pretty much allowed to brutalize whoever you want?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That seems pretty reminiscent of tonight's contest.
This is the fastest game on ice. Hurling's the fastest game on grass.
Is it?
That's their catchphrase.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I want a radar gun, a hurler, and a lacrosse player. Let's put this to the test.
You're Irish, Jack. Have you ever played hurling?
I've never played it. Watched plenty of it. Haven't had the luxury. I don't know if my size would fare well in a hurling match, but we'll see.
You have the center of gravity. Here's Ruiz taking a shot. He scores! A blast from Ruiz!
What a rocket, Johnny Ruiz. He winds and fires, blasting one underneath the glove of Aaron Taylor. And Ruiz, he's having himself a fantastic game tonight.
He really is. He's had himself a great weekend overall. The goal last night that's proved to be the difference maker in that one, that was important. This is an important goal too. He just finds some space, and it's good pickup pass, goes to the stretch pass, and then he's got all the time in the world.
Set up in front now, Ruiz, shot saved, rebound, score! Shane Morrissey sheathes the dagger, it's 6-1!
Salt in the wound there. How about that shot for Morrissey? It all starts again. Ruiz gets the shot away. Anderson with a beautiful feed to him, and Taylor's out of the play. He thinks he's got it covered, but it sneaks out to his right. There's no doubt about it, and looks like we're going to have a goaltending change. Shane Morrissey all day long. Puck's free, nobody in white to pick up the puck. Morrissey buries it.
Aaron Taylor will indeed hit the showers. And Aaron Taylor was down on the ice after that initial shot from Ruiz on the near side. It will be Sebastian Damasa Carlson making his third appearance for the Delaware Thunder. Has an 0-2 record, a 5.4 goals against average, an 879 save percentage. Doesn't see a whole lot of ice time because of Aaron Taylor. Well, he's the number one option. He's been the number one option all season long. He's been an absolute workhorse. So number 40 will patrol the pipes now for the Delaware Thunder. 6-1 is now your score in favor of the Danbury Hat-Tricks as they provide themselves some much-needed cushioning. And now at this point, if you're the Hat-Tricks, you can park the bus and try to get out of here with all of your health intact.
And with all the health, you don't want any injuries, you don't want any suspensions. You have an important series coming up against Columbus for the next 2 weekends in a row.
Same goes for Delaware, of course. You want to start winning these small battles, and you want to try to build some momentum because you still are in a position to where you're fighting for a playoff spot. Set up in front for Bolin Porter, looking for Hanlon. Hanlon couldn't connect. Delaware is still very much so in a position where they still want to work on the little things. Under 9 minutes to go here in the third period. Long pass for Bormanis, forced to the boards by Gavrik, evades a check for a moment. Here's Edwards picking it up. Edwards enters in, getting around Paisano, drops it back. Levesque, shot save. Up to Edwards, looking towards Damasa Carlson. Goes out into the neutrals. On a delayed penalty will be called. This will go against Delaware, a slash. McGuckin will amble his way towards the bench. Shane Morrissey will join. It's now a 6-on-5.
If you're Danbury, just let the clock keep going. You don't need another one.
Well, a bad night just gets worse as throwing his stick was Patrick Tundle at the play. It looked like he was trying to poke it away, but you can't throw your stick at the puck. I'm curious if the referee thought that perhaps it's incidental that he dropped it. As Tundle is, it looks like sharing a laugh. So they'll say it's incidental and not hurling the stick like Georgiev or Kasperi Kapanen.
Yes.
Earlier this season.
Was that on an empty net?
It was not.
Okay.
It resulted in a penalty shot.
Which is the rule.
And the Montreal Canadiens were able to capitalize on that. It was a Canadiens-Leafs game earlier this year. As featured on Weird NHL.
On Weird NHL?
Oh, it's one of the best series on the internet, man.
I didn't know this was a series.
Oh, the NHL's official channel. As it looks like Damasa Carlson will skate over towards his own bench. He has an equipment malfunction. Didn't look like he was really anticipating getting into the game, and now he has to adjust his skates and his pads.
He's got a heck of a cage on top of his head, too.
He's got a red and black bucket on his head. It looks a bit like the poster for Children of the Corn with the red sky and the black silhouettes. Or like a Goodnight Nurse album cover.
Yeah.
Which that's a reference I'm sure that all of maybe one of you would appreciate.
The only Goodnight Nurse I know is Doc Emmerich.
There you go. Goodnight Nurse. The only reason I know this is because it was their song My Only was featured on the NHL 07 soundtrack, the first hockey video game I ever purchased.
That was the first.
That was the first. I'm a youngin', Zach.
I had NHL 95.
I'm only 24.
Was that on Pong?
On a Commodore 64?
Pong was on Atari. Get it right.
Fair enough.
No.
Touche.
No, I had it on the computer actually.
Oh, okay.
On my old Windows 3.1 box.
I was 12 years old picking up NHL 07. Ovi was on the cover that year. And there was a lot of punk in that soundtrack, which I liked. Here's Gavrik taking a step in. Gavrik feeds out in front. That one stopped by Tomasa Karlsson. Now out to Bolin Porter, center of the blue line. Cuts to his left. Long shot goes off the end boards. Might have caught the side of the net.
I was in college, and I had to go to the mall in Crystal City, Virginia to pick it up.
Did they have color television back then?
They did. It was newfangled. Personally, I still think it's witchcraft.
Oh, you can take in the Ed Sullivan Show. It's great.
It looks good. And the fidelity's fantastic, especially in mono.
Halfway through this power play to Anthony Paisano before he's able to rejoin. He spent a lot of time in that penalty box. Here's Shane Morrissey entering in on the left side. Bronner will make his way towards the net. Out to Ruiz. Ruiz to Kasich at the bumper. Turns around, goes off of the legs of Tundle. Morrissey, saucer pass, Shinkarik. Feeds now a one-timer. Ruiz hammers one off, blocked in front by Basie. Now a setup in front, bouncing out towards Shinkarik. Shinkarik fakes a slapper. Down low, through some legs to Morrissey. Nice pass. 20 seconds to go on the power play. Kasich to Morrissey at the circle. Holding his stick in the air, waiting for it to Shinkarik. Doesn't come. Instead gets out to Morrissey. Give and go. Play out in front. That's a stop by Tomasa Karlsson. And Bronner throws an extra cross check after the whistle. And down go the gloves. And Basie socks Bronner in the face.
Oh, that's a sucker punch. That's from behind. Bronner isn't even facing Basie. Basie drops his right glove and proceeds to smack him across the jaw. Bronner's angry.
Well, Bronner did throw the cross check after the whistle. So in the hockey sense, he's asking for it. But at the same time, you do want to wait for the man to actually be facing you because that is a dangerous play.
Well, let's see how long these guys are in the box. I wouldn't be surprised if the referee hands out a couple misconducts here because Phil Bronner is heated.
Yeah, Bronner's probably going to go all together. Well, maybe not.
No, they're both in the penalty box, and let's see if they can simmer down in the next 5 minutes of game time.
Oh, that's not good. You can't leave the box.
No, that's exactly what happened. Basie just came out of the box
Yeah,
and challenged Nick Levesque.
That should be a misconduct. By the rules, that should be a misconduct.
Absolutely.
And it looks like they're calling him on it, and they're sending him to the tunnel.
No, beyond that, that's something that might be reviewed by the league. You simply cannot leave the penalty box once you're in there.
And Basie will draw the boos of the Danbury faithful as he's ushered towards the tunnel, and he exchanges some final parting words with Billy McCreary and will make his way down the tunnel.
Well, let's see what else happens from here because Basie actually spat at the Danbury bench.
Really? I didn't see that.
Wow.
Yeah, no, he did, and the entire half of that bench, including Billy McCreary, was yelling at the linesman, "Did you see that?" And he goes, "I got it, I got it." Mm-hmm. And now that's the linesman over in the referee's crease.
Wow.
All right. Let's take this moment to send some appreciation to our statistician crew who have been keeping up with not only 7 goals, but umpteen penalties tonight.
They're going to be busy.
Grace McNamara, our lead statistician tonight, along with Cooper McLean and Roger Katz. We thank them for their dedication to the hat tricks every single night, but especially tonight in which there is a lot of virtual ink being dedicated to the many penalties assessed throughout tonight's contest. There's 6:12 to go in the period. In the game. 12 seconds to go in the penalty to Anthony Paisano, and, well, who knows how much time remaining in the penalties that will be assessed to both Basie and Phil Bronner.
Well, Basie will, at this point, his game is done, and like I said, I'm sure the league will be having a talk with him. Phil Bronner stays in the penalty box, and with no penalties going up on the board, I imagine it's all of the 5-minute majors and misconducts all around.
I think you're right, Zach. I think
a game misconduct is, in fact, being assessed to Basie. to the surprise of no one.
Although they'll get Bronner on the cross check.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Well, that was fun.
Well, we have a lot of milling about now, and it is kind of awkward where after such an intense, heated battle, people skating off the ice, now you have this moment of pleasantry where you're all kind of standing around going, what just happened? You have to decompress, and you have this shared moment of awkwardness out on the ice.
Especially when you're not in the heat of it. You're not down there with the gloves getting thrown around. And
that's why baseball fights are always so funny to me, because really there's only like two people that are angry. It's probably the pitcher and the hitter.
Right.
The catcher will try to keep the peace, and then you just have 12 people out in the bullpen who want to come running in and join in some fun. They just want to get some cardio.
That's what I love about the baseball fights, because the bullpens come pouring out, and then they all kind of huddle up together, take a look around, and then they get a nice stroll back.
And they usually don't extend it to anything too bad. Sometimes we'll see it every once in a while, but that's what's so great about baseball is hockey, you can't do much. When there's a fight going on, you have to stay on your bench or else you're going to get penalized for that. Baseball, everyone starts running, you kind of get up. You know, you're a long reliever. You're a guy who comes in the 8th or in the 9th inning. It's the 3rd inning. There's a bench-clearing brawl. You kind of say to yourself, hey, I got to get up. Holy cow, I was just taking a nap.
Well, that's what I like about goalie fights, because you can have all 5 players on both sides going at it. If the goalies throw down, everybody stops.
Well, I tell you what, you probably will see a couple of bench-clearing brawls at some point this year in baseball as a shot gets steered into the corner, especially considering the fallout. And
I was going to say, are all of them going to be in Houston, or can they do it on the road too?
Well, it all depends. Will Houston see the fight coming?
I don't know. Is there a buzzing? Can somebody hit a
someone will get
can
buzzed all right. Someone will get buzzed all right. And their PR machine, boy, someone needs to go from that staff. Whoever is in charge of PR, it's a bit like Michael Scott with the golden ticket idea, where as soon as something bad happens, you throw down your hat and go, my golden ticket idea. That's not my idea. What a disaster. Edwards pokes it ahead to himself and has a bit of space. Litke cutting him off from the net. Edwards will stop short, sauce it for Hanlon. Shot goes wide. Edwards once more out in front. Hanlon had to retreat. Oliver over to Vlad Gavrik with under 5 minutes to go in regulation time. You're watching Danbury Hat Tricks Hockey on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel. Be sure to tune in next weekend on Friday and Saturday as the Hat Tricks host the Columbus River Dragons in their first encounter of the season, just as we are getting over seeing the Delaware Thunder for the 8th time this season. Now we've got a newbie coming in. The Dragons from the West, the Beasts of the West.
Yes. And, you know, not for nothing, what Scott Brand and his team down there has done has been absolutely fantastic. It's a sharp-looking uniform as well. I hope that they bring those blue ones that they wear.
I love those.
Oh, yeah.
They are so nice.
And you know what else I love about them? They're easy to read. Not like Battle Creek's jerseys. I got to say, look, Battle Creek's jerseys, they have charm about them. Charm is one word.
Yes.
But the honeycomb design, the vertical stripes, and given their record, it's just the perfect amalgam of wrong. With Columbus, those blue alternates, they are very minor league, those bright blue. The Arizona Diamondbacks blue.
Yes. But it looks, I mean, they own it. It works so well for them.
Yeah.
The only thing they need to do, they wear their white helmets with it.
Yes.
Wear a black helmet.
Yeah.
Yes. Or just go with the full Sharpie look and get a blue helmet. You'll look like a felt tip pen.
Go for it. Yeah, I want to be on the end of that call from Easton or Bauer. Hi, I'd like this color blue helmet.
Edwards takes a step in, looks to the net, and fires wide. Well, speaking of helmets, you've got the Stadium Series going on right now between the Kings and Avalanche. And not only do the Avalanche have that wonky mountain design, but you have the Kings wearing chrome helmets right now.
What?
Oh yeah, you haven't seen that?
No, why did nobody inform me? I know why, because they knew I'd lose my mind. Chrome helmets? Are you kidding me?
The LA Kings are wearing these hybrid, like sliced in half diagonally, white on the bottom, black on top. And on their head, they are wearing bright silver metallic helmets.
Chrome domes.
Chrome domes.
Is the sun? Well, what time is it? It's 10. Nah,
it'll be a night game out at the Air Force Academy out in Colorado.
Huh. So in that case, with the lights, that could be a real interesting strategy. Take the eyes away from the goalie. All right, you stand here and tilt your head. Perfect.
Masters trying to set it up in front for Borman. It's just picked off by Brown. It's a bit like, as a kid, you would try to use the magnifying glass to set fire to blades of grass in your lawn. You're trying to use the angle of the sun.
Okay, Pyro.
Not me in particular. But
Stories that you heard. Friends of yours. Okay.
I've
heard this story before.
I'm sane. That's all I'm saying. I just saw the ant bully is all. Here's Masters with a shot that's gloved down by McGuckin. Another try is steered aside.
How does the NHL allow? I don't get it.
You're still on the chrome helmets?
Yeah, no, I'm going to be on that for a while.
Oh, boy. Levesque now grabbed from behind, and Paisano is punching the back of his head. And Levesque will rip off his helmet in frustration as he's dragged down to the ice, and Paisano is dragging him around like a rag doll. And now Billy McCreary will spew venom over towards the Delaware bench. And Charlie Penn Sr. will laugh and wave him off.
Oh, with 3:35 to go in the third period, that will be the last that we see of Paisano in this game.
And it's quite remarkable what we've seen from Anthony Paisano, that he was once a Danburian. I mean,
this is the biggest heel turn since Hulk Hogan joining NWO.
Nice reference.
Thank you.
But yeah, Paisano's beloved here.
Yeah. That's turned around very quickly.
I'm not sure if the same feelings of affection will still be there for that gentleman. But, hey, for Danbury hockey, we have not had many games that are quote-unquote Danbury hockey.
Yes, that's true.
This one is.
That's true. And not only Danbury hockey, Danbury FHL hockey.
Yes.
This is when people talk about the bus leagues and talk about FPHL hockey, and they look for a clinical explanation or a dictionary definition of what that is.
This.
Wow. It's the kind of vitriol that really we haven't seen here in Danbury since probably. Do you go back to the New Haven night of 2011? Or 2012, I believe it was, when they were brawling against the
that was the year before I started.
Yes. Against the Cape Cod Bluefins.
Yes. And assistant coach Adam Blanchette was involved with that.
He was. He was on the bench, on the visiting bench, I should say, mixing it up with some Bluefins players. And on the Bluefins roster as well, Steve Brown.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. As a healthy scratch that night was Nick Nieder.
Yes, he was.
Another Danbury hat trick.
See, this reminds me of the old the old Danbury Whalers days. This game started at 7:15-ish. It's now past 10 o'clock here on the East Coast. Who knows how much longer this is going to go. And here's something that you rarely see. Anthony Paisano has 7 minutes up on the board for a penalty.
Well, I tell you what, there's 3:35 still to go, and this has turned into the Irishman of hockey games. Bolin Porter out with Edwards to his right, Brown to his left. Kasich and Oliver holding the blue line. Edwards shuffles it over to Oliver. The buzzer will sound and we'll get a stoppage in play.
But why?
I'm unsure.
I don't know why either. So 8 seconds elapse off the clock. It looks like they'll just let it keep going.
Oh, keep a running clock at this point.
Well,
let's play squirt rules.
I'll tell you this. Comparing this to the old Whalers days, it's more fun because with the Whalers I was by myself. So a lot of talking to myself, and that gets boring after a while. You guys at least keep it entertaining.
Oliver looking for Bolin Porter, intercepted. De Cristoforo dances away from a stick check from Kasich, gets it back to Licky. Licky will fling this one down towards McGuckin. McGuckin has stopped 24 of 25 shots tonight. McGuckin will take a bump from Taylor Cutting as he was making his way back to the blue paint. McGuckin will weakly tap him on the knee with the paddle of his stick to let him know he's there. And that's really kind of the final bastion that hasn't been crossed in this game, is that no one really has taken too many liberties, I should say, with Tom McGuckin.
No, that's true. McGuckin did get hit in the second period, but, well, that's really just been about it.
And that was more incidental, really, than anything else. That's finishing your charging towards the net.
I would have reacted the same way as Steve Brown. I turned away for a moment. I see my goalie down on the ice. Yeah, I'm going to drop the gloves.
Yeah, might as well. You put 2 and 2 together, and transitive property, and you figure one thing leads to another. Under 2 minutes of play here in regulation time. Be sure to tune in next Friday and Saturday as the Hat-Tricks take on the Columbus River Dragons here at Danbury Arena as DeMassa Carlson swallows that one up. You can get your tickets at danburyhattricks.com/tickets, and we've got a couple of different events going on next weekend. Alzheimer's Association Day for the Danbury Hat-Tricks and Ben's Bells Day as well. You can support kindness in your community by going to danburyhattricks.com/tickets and purchasing tickets for Ben's Bells Night on Saturday.
Yeah, you got some really great fundraisers, and that's one thing about, not only the Danbury Hat-Tricks, but teams throughout this league reaching out to local organizations. And Ben Bells has a wide reach, especially here in the Western Connecticut region, so it's exciting to have them here.
Edwards takes a step out into open space, finds Kasich. Kasich maneuvers it to his left. Simonetta almost had picked his pocket. Brown out to Gavrik. Gavrik has 2 in the contest in what seems like an eternity ago. Crosses to Bolin Porter. Bolin Porter sends it high and wide, and that will flitter out of the zone. 1:10 to go in regulation time. Up to Edwards. Nifty stick work gets in behind the defense. Edwards looking for options. Flips it up into the midsection of Licky. Final minute of play. Bolin Porter. To Gavrik, to Bolin Porter, to Kasich. Now Gavrik. Out to Bolin Porter in the slot. Shot blocked in front. Gavrik looking to pass. He does have 2 on the night. Not looking to collect that hat trick in the final minute.
Selfless.
Yes.
Selfless for the Ukrainian.
Bolin Porter will pick it up and look ahead, and Hat-Tricks will retreat and kill off these final few seconds, not looking to get into any more misadventures in the attacking zone. McIntosh will knock the puck away. McGuckin will steer it into the corner. Well, the Danbury Hat-Tricks will improve to 26-9-2-2, increasing their stranglehold on the Eastern Division as they try to fend off the Elmira Enforcers, who themselves are on a torrid pace. The Delaware Thunder, 8-27-0-0. That'll do it from the Hat City. The Danbury Hat-Tricks. Plenty of fights on the card, but the heavyweight bout goes to the Danbury Hat-Tricks. 6-1 your final as they sweep the weekend and take a 7-1 advantage in the season series against the Delaware Thunder. McGuckin stops 24 in the victory. And we'll keep an eye on the teams as they are ushered into their respective locker rooms.
Let's see who gets to raise the barrel tonight as well.
And here's Matthias Kasich. Kasich got the ball rolling with the first fight of the evening, dropped the gloves of Patrick Tundle, and really that was, in terms of quality, the best fight of the evening.
It was, because at least there, the players were able to square up and take care of business. The other ones, there wasn't much to it. It was more of, either somebody getting jumped, coming out of a scrum or a fracas, and they weren't as clean.
And it wasn't all love lost. You saw Taylor Cutting and Kenny Garrett, who went at it a little while ago in the third period. They tapped each other on the back and said, hey, this is all part of the game, and they paid their respects right there, so it's positive to see. But this was just a messy, messy game, and Danbury never wavered from their brand of the game. As much as Delaware brought out their fighting, brought out their physicality, and the messiness of the game, Danbury continued to score at a high rate. They ended up putting 42 shots on goal. It was an overall solid game and took advantage of the power plays when they needed to. another strong weekend for them, and this one will go down with a check mark next to its name because of how strange it was at some points, guys.
How strange, how slow as well, because when you have to spend all this time sorting out which penalties are going to who, any momentum that you may have, you can lose that. It can be sapped out of you. So a good job by the Hat-Tricks to stay focused, keep their eyes on the prize, and now they'll get ready to deal with the Columbus River Dragons for the first time this season. Looking forward to seeing them.
Vladislav Gavrik gets the third star of the game. Johnny Ruiz gets the second. And Corey Anderson will get the number 1 star. What a night it was for number 27 as well. Played a very black and blue hard-nosed game.
Yeah, he gets a goal and an assist in this one, and he's so sharp. And he's one of those players who is so strong around the net. He's physical, and he made some smart plays in this game. Really like what he's brought in his rookie campaign here as a Danbury hat-trick. Very, very good stuff from him tonight again.
Well, that'll just about do it here from Danbury Arena as an eventful evening comes to a close. We want to thank everyone here who tuned in tonight on the Danbury Hat-Tricks YouTube channel, whether you be from Delaware or from Danbury. And we want to sincerely thank everyone at Danbury Arena who makes a Hat-Tricks game possible. And again, a sincere shout-out to our statistician crew who were kept very busy tonight between all the goals and penalties, to Grace McNamara, Roger Katz, and Cooper McLean. We thank you sincerely. For all of us here at Danbury Arena and for my broadcast partners, Jack O'Mara and Zach McGinnis, I'm Casey Bryant. Have a good night.